What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here for a very special DM13 set review. We have, as always, CVH.
How's it going, everybody?
And joining us for the first time on the channel, but a longtime best friend of the channel, YamiMichael.
Hey guys, I have been here a while.
He has been around the block. Yami, for those of you who don't know you, who I can't imagine if they're watching a Duel Masters video in 2023, don't know who you are, but a little bit of background. Who are you for those who might
Who
not
am
know?
I? Oh, that's a deep question. No, not really. I've been around the Duel Masters community since the very beginning. I've been playing for a long time, on and off, as we all have, I guess. Um, the main thing that people would know me for, of course, though, is the Duel Masters Wiki, which I've ran since its beginning. Again, on and off, but for I have done for many, many years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
YamiMichael is the the wizard that has made the Wikipedia page what it is. For those of you who have ever wondered what a card does, YamiMichael's 99% of the reason it exists on the internet in such an easily searchable fashion. The DM Wiki is your baby, as I've always kind of said
Oh,
it and
yeah.
described it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you have Yami to thank for that. But we brought him in for this very special video today. Um, what I did about a week ago, and I posted about it. You guys saw the box opening. We got a bunch of proxy cards printed, and Master of Duel, who I commissioned through Instagram, his link is down below as well. He printed a master set of DM13 for us, which I then turned around, took a bunch of pictures of, which we'll see today. And we're just going to go through it, just like a normal set review for DM13, something that, to my knowledge, I'm not really sure has been done, at least to this level on YouTube. And in 2023, CVH and I might dig into
Well, at
this
least
and
not a
try to
set
run a
review.
little mini tournament. Right, like a complete set review in English with English printed cards, which is just
Yeah, it's
neat. And
pretty
I
nice.
and
They did come out quite nicely.
Yeah, and I have your group to thank for this. Australia Duel Masters put out a petition. This was probably 3 or so months ago, back when we first started back into this content creation piece. He put out a video talking about trying to get to petition Wizards to print the set in English. And I was like, I'm gonna take the back door here. I'm gonna hit up a proxy printer, and we're gonna get this done because I thought that was neat. You know, what a cool way that it completes
Yeah,
an
you have to
arc,
show
if I'm not
interest.
correct. Say that
It's a
again,
good way.
Yami. Sorry.
I said it's a good way to show interest and show that we do actually want to play with these cards, and yeah,
Yeah, and it completes a an arc of this game, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Like the way Duel Masters was structured in Japan, that had different like 4 to 5 block set arcs throughout the majority of Duel Masters, and I think this
yeah, that's true.
completes one
This
of its
one was
arcs.
the Eternal block because all of the DM10 to 13 all had Eternal in their name.
Right,
Based on the yeah, this
and
was the
this
last one, and it gave us we'll be going through what it gave us today, but it finished off the multicolored focus that was going on in these DM10 to 13 sets. Yeah.
absolutely. So, without further ado, CVH, if you can, please take us to our first card.
Absolutely. We're gonna start at one out of it's 55, 1 out of 55
Yep.
plus the 5
5.
One
supers.
out of 55. Now, are you sharing your screen? Yami, I guess you can follow along. You probably have a way to get this up. I don't know if you're sharing your
Um
screen or if we have a way to
I,
watch
I've
with
I've been
you still.
sharing OBS virtual camera this whole time. You should see
I
that.
should probably
Yep.
flip you over to that.
I got 3 screens going, so I'm all good and set up either way.
Nice.
Either way. Yep. All right. So we're good. So yeah, card number one, and I'm gonna mispronounce the majority of these, so you guys
Oh,
feel
don't
free
worry
to
about it.
jump in.
There's probably a point, and this is something I was thinking about before the video as well. There's probably a few cards here and there that I want to change the translation on, but it's like once this is out and as well as Gauntlet being used, and we'll get into the Gauntlet stuff later as well. Um, these videos kind of then lock people onto those translations. Like these are the names they're gonna know, so it's like I can't really
Mhm.
change them after the fact. But don't worry about it. I'm sure there's a few weirdly named things in this.
Gotcha. Okay.
So don't
So
worry about mispronouncing it, because like, yeah, a lot of these code names I've translated or written, or some of these translations were done way before I ever did any. Um, yeah, and they may be weird for English pronunciation anyway, so don't worry about it.
right. So whatever we're getting wrong here, because like I said, I think his and again, 99% sure, and Master of Duel, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he translated at least the majority of these from the wiki page.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm sure
if
it would have been
yeah,
copied exactly as it was. Yeah.
right. So for sure. So hoping we're as close to correct on these as we can be. But yeah, card number one. The first card in DM13, which was named Eternal Phoenix, correct? Am I getting that
Yeah,
right? Okay.
Eternal Phoenix.
Ball halls, ball holes. Who knows?
I might
Demonic
have thought it was
elemental.
Battle Force, but yeah.
That's
So
an
we're
H,
going with
right?
that. Looks like an H to me.
Looks like an H to me.
Yeah, it is H. Yeah. Battle
Yeah,
holes.
ball holes. Demonic elemental. The dual civ. So we got anti dual civs out of this set. So
Yeah.
all of the
Enemy
is that what you call enemy?
civilization.
Enemy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna screw all of that up as I talk to, and you guys might as well just shut me up at some point. But
Yeah, probably. Should.
the light darkness, angel command, demon command.
I mean,
Uh,
well, that's the main. Yeah, that is the main focus of DM13, and pretty much part of the reason people wanted the set so much is that it did the enemy multicolored things, which you'll see all the combos as they come along. But yeah, light and darkness didn't have any cards in the English game
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
same card. That is, yeah.
So, and I could have sworn, and I thought, and this set will introduce an ability called Sympathy, which we'll get to here in a moment. But I could have sworn this card had it, and looking back at it, I'm surprised it doesn't. But it basically just is a giant slime
Yeah,
deal on
you'll be
wheels.
confusing it for a later one. That's also Angel Demon. That'd be why.
Got it. But yeah,
Well, it's a
8 cost
giant
blocker. Yeah.
slime veil plus Eek has the Spydroid, right? Whichever one untaps after it battles. So I think that's a 4 for 4 with that effect, and you're basically paying another 8 for an extra 2,000 power and the slime veil. So I guess yeah, the idea is you stick it, and then all your opponent's things, if they're under 6,000, they're gonna run into it next turn.
I'd have to say this card seems bad.
I would have to say,
Maybe not a very rare I would
It's
want to
not
open.
very expensive.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would have to say it needs to swap its power and cost to even like approach playability. Like 6 for 8,000 maybe is better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's getting better. 8 for 6,
Absolutely.
I'm not feeling it. Cute though.
On to the next.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, a lot of the
So-
enemy civs, dual civs, I think we're going to see that they basically just function to illustrate what those two civilizations are good at. You know, like not every allied dual civ combination card is good, but they all have like a piece of light and a piece of water. For like a light water card, you can sort of see the
Exactly.
synergies.
You can see how they have
Yeah.
an effect from both civs. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're on to number 2. I'm
some
going to
have
take a crack.
completely unique abilities.
I'll pronounce this one because I know what all the words sound like. Aegis, Sage of Fire and Lightning. I'm reading this as we're going, by the way. I skimmed this set like a week
Yeah,
ago, and I haven't actually
absolutely.
dove back in.
May as well just be first impressions.
Oh, I've
yeah.
been back and forth on it and like deep diving into things, but then I'm like, oh, what did this card do? I totally forgot. Yeah.
Okay, this is certainly a lot better. Because a 4 for 5, you know, the DNORC stat line isn't that bad. The extra effect
right
is
power.
cute, but likely in less like I don't know, monocolor or like dual color civil or type based aggressive decks
mean-
got popular.
The whole thing is like you're trying to force cards into this, right? Like the effect's not great because you play it on field, like they're never going to knowingly swing into it
Yeah.
unless they've already got a game plan. So like the 4 for 5, the ability to maybe lock down an effect like Wave Strikers is cute. Or no, Wave Strikers isn't even a civilization.
they're not a
So
race,
it's
yeah.
not a race. So it's survivors at that point, maybe. But like, yeah, it's hard to think that like I mean maybe like the Hydrus deck doesn't want to see this card.
Well, my
But
thinking
the
is
fact
more
that
just
it's
like for
Gladiator, yeah.
regular rush, right?
There's
Like
a lot
quick-
of deck types that either aren't going to care or they're just, yeah, as you said, can play around it, basically.
Right.
it's just
and
like
the
an
fact
icing
that
on the
these-
cake, right? Like you would want it against like a Ganta Quixotic rush deck because then if they have 2 creatures, a lot of the time they'd sacrifice one to break a shield or win the game, and this is like, no, it just functionally
Right.
blocks all of them at once.
But I think
But
even
kind of
this
tough.
color combination doesn't really lend itself to much in terms of what this card's trying to accomplish. And decks like Tribal and I mean maybe like Foul Control runs this as a one of, but
No.
like the Gladiator's not really doing much for you. 'Cause I don't think this deck gets played in anything that's also playing Alzonius. So I don't know, bad card. I'm
It
not a
can
fan.
it has a few. I wouldn't say it's great, but the races are actually what support it the most, honestly.
That's yeah. Oh yeah, Bossless Ba, I guess
Yeah, we
was
got Barge, yeah,
yeah, that's a cute card that I've been trying to figure
but
out how to make
it's not the
competitive.
worst. It's not the worst for Gladiator bait if you are also using Fire the deck for some purposes. And there's a few cards later on that show why you might want to do like a light water fire thing. So
Yeah, light
Alright,
it's a
water
perfect
fire
card for that.
Alzonius.
Like it's got a specific use. But yeah.
fair enough.
Moving on. Number 3. All
Yeah.
right. Anyone gonna try this? Akashic first. First.
There's gonna
Akashic
be a
first
few
Electro
Akashics.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Akashic, okay.
So,
Yeah.
Sympathy.
Akashic
Carl,
first is
explain
how
what
I've always thought
sympathy
of it.
is. Someone explain
so
what sympathy is.
yeah, Sympathy was introduced in DM13. Sympathy basically gives you two civilization or two races that, if they're on the board, help your card cost less. So this thing has Sympathy for Cybervirus and Dragonoid, and you can read it on the card. This creature costs one less to summon for each of your Cybervirus and Dragonoids in the battlefield, and can't cost less than two.
It always has to be at least two because,
The dual
well,
civ.
even if you, yeah, but basically because yeah, it's dual civ. Yeah,
It's
So
interesting.
with yeah, it's definitely not a it's not the it's Kaijudo variant, that's for sure. Um,
yeah. I do always keep thinking, oh, it has speed attack, and then I have to remind myself it does
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, that's I think what would make this card great. The fact that it doesn't, I think, is what makes it just slightly maybe not playable. And Cybervirus is a hard one to. I wish it
Yeah,
was
there's not
Cyberlord.
many. There's really only like Kelp Candle or Grape Globo, who is hilarious to use. But yeah, there's not many. I mean, there's Lucky Ball,
Yeah,
True.
but the
yeah.
main one that you're going to use for it is Marine Flower, which kind of goes against the whole idea of an aggressive strategy. But
Well,
it's a
so
great one drop. So
and
yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. In Japan, we got a Cybervirus Evo that was really top tier for a while. In the fourth set, correct? It was the two drop that drew a bunch of cards. The evolution on a Cybervirus.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. We got Astral Warper, which was
Right.
the whole
Right.
6 cost 5,000 power and draws 3 on a Cyber Virus.
Right.
They got Astral Reef, which was, as you said, a 2 drop with 4,000, and yeah, it evolved on a Cyber Virus, and you still draw 3. So it's like, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
It's reason it was one of the first cards that actually did get restricted. Like that was on their Hall of Fame as soon as it started, which is the ban restrict list. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
that's
funny.
cool. So yeah,
So
unfortunately,
being able to turn to that after Marine Flower, very strong.
yeah, absolutely, and so yeah. It's just and unfortunately, I don't know that I would ever try to figure out
But
a
the
way
other
to
side
jam this
of this
card in a
is
deck.
you don't have to do both races. Like, yes, you could have other cyber viruses in the deck, but you could just have the sympathy off playing Dragonoids alone.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I mean
can compare
that's
that out.
part of me thought this would be cute with like a rush deck where you just jam a bunch of Braid Claws and
Yeah.
whatever
Well,
other cheap
before the
like
set,
Dragonoids.
yeah, you have Braid Claw, you have Bullraiser, but actually the main source of other Dragonoids will be later in the set.
All right.
So we'll kind of talk about them as they go along. So it's not the worst. So even if
Yeah.
you get it down to like a 3, I mean, you don't have to get it to about 3. Even 5 would. 5's a bit iffy. I think if you could realistically in your deck have enough Dragonoids and maybe the couple other tech-in cyber viruses, you could get it to 3 or 4 mana.
Yeah, I mean
Normally
the
enough,
earliest
and
you
it's
can
pretty
ever play
good.
it's turn 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So 4 is about all you need if that deadly fighter is just going the distance.
If
All
you can
right.
get that perfect curve of, it's beautiful. But the fact that it doesn't have speed attack, it does hurt it a little bit. But
Yeah.
for a rush deck, getting a 6k out isn't the worst.
Yeah,
Not the worst.
yeah. So maybe the best out of the three we've seen so far, but I believe that takes us to a name that I'm also afraid to try here.
I'll try it.
I'm gonna
Goal is the Ganta, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah, Goal
Goal
Zaganta.
Zaganta. Sounded a lot better. Of the Woodland Ridge, Spirit of the Woodland Ridges. Yeah.
Yeah,
Levi,
it's a long one.
more sympathy stuff here. So this one again a weird water race to take sympathy for Jellyfish. For those phantom fish decks out there. I don't even think phantom fish is a jellyfish. Am I right? Is it just a fish? Didn't they do that in DM1?
Phantom Fish.
I think it's just a fish. But either way, this is the Snow Fairy card, which is cute. It can
Phantom Fish is a jellyfish.
Phantom Fish is a jellyfish, so we can jam
Yeah. And
makes
so
Phantom
is
Fish
like
relevant. For sure.
revolver fish and stuff.
Yeah, you've got
Yeah,
Revolver Fish for the 4 for 5k. You've got Magellan 2 for 3.
Oh yeah.
Like you got, they're I mean, they're average as a blocker. They're what their power should be. They're fine.
right.
This
So
feels
this
like it
card,
would fit more with the snow fairies, right? Because you have Hardy Captain,
yeah,
and then there's the
More or less, yeah.
the 2-drop snow fairy that we're gonna see later in the
Plus, none
set.
of those jellyfish can attack. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I just want to
yeah,
play a
and
3
we
for 5,000 power thing on curve and beat him up, and the evolution tapping effect is just kind of there. I just want to play my 3 for 5.
yeah,
That's what I
I
want to
think
do.
this card's neat, especially if you can sympathy it out on turn 3 for sure. Like you said, Hardy Captain into whatever other Snow Fairy 2-drop is
Yeah, like if you're
pretty
using
neat.
water in your in a Snow Fairy build already, it's fine. I mean, like there is enough cheap Snow Fairies at the 1 or 2 cost that there's a couple in this set as well.
Right.
A particularly good one.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, just having
yeah, I
Polygon
do.
as a one.
Yeah,
Any of these sympathy cards, if that race has like a lot of the 1 and 2 drops, that's the main support you're gonna have for sympathy, of course. Because it just changes how early you can get these things out by
yeah.
multiple turns.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a lot of these sympathy cards just on paper look terrible, and then the fact that they have sympathy is what makes them playable. Like this is a 3 for 5 is great every time. This is a 5 for 5, probably not something you want to play all that
Yeah, but
often. So,
even 4 for 5, probably pushing it. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Should get it out for 2. Yeah, sure, great. Why not?
for sure.
Yeah.
So, like this one as well. And this
Yeah. The effect
this
probably never happens that much. It really is very meta dependent, of course, but there was also some good evolutions running around in the Japanese meta, so it had some purpose. But I don't believe it was used much from what I've looked up.
for sure. And that takes us to our final super rare, Gachel,
Very.
the emitter.
Nature
So,
Dark.
yeah, Nature Dart. So this one, again on paper, has finally a good cost to power spread, 6 for 7k. And whenever it attacks, you put a card from your hand in your mana zone or shield zone.
Well,
Uh,
it's a
or
limited
card
bomb.
from, right. Yeah, for sure. So it's yeah, yeah, that's really what this is. This will tear up draft for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 6 for 7 double breaker. It's basically just a big you saw a lot of darkness cards doing this, especially as we got into DM10 and all that. There were a lot of cards that when you play them, just start taking shields back to your hand. And we had a few attacking cards early on in DM that whenever they attacked would bring a card from your shield to your hands, and this kind of takes both of those effects like Sniper Mosquito and those cards and jams it into one big
Yeah.
old boy.
I like this card in draft a lot. Caps out the curve, you start attacking. Maybe if you needed to stabilize, you can actually use it to put one of the bad cards in your hand back into shields. Yeah. In constructed, I
And it
mean,
is
I don't think there's a
optional, so it
deck.
can just be a beater.
Oh yeah. If it was mandatory, it'd be a lot worse. But yeah, I mean, in constructed, obviously, I
And a
don't
lot of
think
time
this
you're
wants it.
probably doing the shield edition instead of ramping by turn 6 already, but I mean,
Yeah.
multi-purpose, why not?
Hmm. I mean, maybe your draft deck just has some 9-drops. Who knows? Or you still have 5 shields, and then you're maybe putting mana, or maybe just keeping your cards in your hand. Yeah,
Yeah,
constructed. I can't think of a deck that would want it, but that's okay. It's a
No,
big old
yeah,
quartz.
the race really doesn't give it much of a place anywhere, unfortunately. Like
Spirit
if it had
quartzes
some
have
sort
the
of
best
sympathy,
art,
sure.
but they're just so bad
Oh,
so
they're
often.
great, yeah. I love how they're named. They are actually all named after like some real gemstone in some form. If you look into it enough, yeah.
Huh.
yeah, didn't notice that.
And the weird thing with Getchel is that there's yet another darkness nature spirit quartz later on where it basically has the
Yeah,
reverse of the same ability. But yeah, we'll get to that.
All right, we moving on to super
we
rares.
are. No,
Or
we're moving on
no, we can
to
still ask, I
number.
thought, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
Dorothea the Explorer.
glad I
Wait
clicked the
for
right
Christian
one.
to catch up.
Did
The
you
light
say
one.
Dora the Explorer?
Yeah.
I tell me, please tell me that. And God, when did Dora come out? We gotta link this up. Who copied who?
That good point. Well, this would have been 2005.
That's what I'm saying, man. Duel Masters was ahead of its time. We
No,
were
this
on
is
to stuff.
Dora the Explorer
But
definitely
I
came
don't
out
know
before this.
how
This is
old.
definitely a
Yeah, that's
cheeky
what I'm
play on
saying. I
that.
don't know how old. Dora was 2000. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
this
all
is a
right.
cheat. Someone was like, "Ooh, we should make something the Explorer and call it Dorothy," and that was a cute meeting someone at
Oh, if I
WotC
ever
had.
come back for a later video, I could talk for days straight on all the naming conventions for different races they've used later on. There's whole even just for English cards, there's a whole bunch. Yeah.
This card seems okay.
It just counters Cranium Clamp if you play it before they play
Yeah.
Clamp. But God help you if you're on the draw, then it does nothing. Yeah, it's just like it's anti-spell hate. It's like anti-control hate, but it's like we come from Kaijudo where Keeper of Laws existed, so this just seems so much worse by comparison.
It seems like a cute card that maybe like the Waterlight Alzonius deck plays it as its one of instead of cards like Bengal or someone like just a more strictly anti-control card, a card that wants to not get lost sold. So
Maybe.
like it's
Maybe.
neat, but I wish it had 4,000 power. I think it would just be very playable at that point.
The thing that I think makes Bingle better is that you never have to actually spend the mana on Bingle to get the,
Right.
the countering
Yeah.
effect. This thing is left
Yeah,
to
free
play it.
creatures are just fun.
Yeah, for creatures are great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cute card.
Yeah.
Not my
There
favorite.
is, however, a fun detail with this. Obviously, it does still have to be during your opponent's turn, so you can't just do something like Emergency Typhoon on your own. You could as a shield trigger, though, end up drawing even more.
That's
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
but the fun combo with this is I'm gonna mispronounce the name even though it's English anyway. Is the Glace magic Magicula or whatever it
Oh,
is.
yeah, Glyce
Magicula.
And the
Manipula. Yeah.
Initiative.
Yeah. The
Because
initiative.
basically whenever one of your shields would be broken, you can discard 2 cards. But then you just draw 2 from this. So you're not losing any and keep your hand full. Hey look, you can discard again for another shield break. You basically can't die as long as your deck has cards. Which is a silly little combo.
It's kind of dope. If our
That's
opponent
really
has
cute.
0
Yeah.
removal, then we're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No removal, you gotta set up an Evo.
Yep.
It is cheap and it is initiate, but it's like,
It's
yeah, it's
fine.
a fun little thing you could do.
Yep. We're never winning, but we're never losing. Counts for
Right.
something.
Well,
And your deck runs out.
all these cards can attack.
Hey, English doesn't have a deck limit. Just run a
Yep.
couple hundred. I don't know.
It's starting to sound like my Continentals deck. It's huge and it does nothing. Oh
Oh,
man.
everybody loves a good 5-color pile.
Hey,
Yeah.
mine was only 4. But yeah.
We could sleeve it up in top loaders and just
I
really
say that,
go all
and yet
out.
I say that, and yet I'm a very strict stick to 40 person.
Yes,
But
we
I have
forced
had
ourselves
18
now.
years.
Yeah. We did
It's
it
been
to
an interesting
ourselves this
thing
time.
that changes the community. Actually, it's been good to see people embrace that.
Yeah. All right, I'm moving on before we have to talk about Dorothy anymore. On to
Yeah.
Asteria, Heaven's Blessing Elemental. What a name. What a long name. 5 for 6. I'm liking that. And whenever your opponent draws cards, draw the same amount of cards. Okay, so I read this card before. Yeah, if it drew a card including draw phases, it would just be absolutely busted, right? It's 5 for 6 floater. It's like Azure Drake from Hearthstone, but it's huge.
Yeah.
So I get why it
Like
doesn't do
summoning
that.
and passing it, it would automatically get you one. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
that'd be great. Part of me wants it to be great. 5 for 6 with an upside. Like, this card isn't bad, but because of the Anero effect, like, it just kind of falls a little flat compared to Valkyr for me, the 5 for 7 Angel Command.
Yeah. And
I
that's
don't
the
think that
tough
power
part.
difference changes much. Like,
You
is
say
there
that
many
to
cases where
Sapien
you?
Tark.
Yeah, say that to the Wave
Okay, fair.
Strikers deck. But yeah, no, I think this card
Okay, in those
suffers from that.
matchups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
It's
card suffers
close.
from just having a narrow effect that's not amazing. So,
Actually, okay, I take it back. I can see playing this over Well, Valkyr wasn't even in the actual Alcadius deck. Like, obviously, as an Angel Command, that's where it kind of wants to be in, like, the tempo deck. This
It's
is really
I mean, it's
good
Definitely
against
taken the same
Mystrios.
slot. Yeah.
Your opponent plays Mystrios, and you play this. You've just played the larger Mystrios on the board. It's still it's gonna copy the Mystrios' effect, essentially, which is pretty sick. So, like, anytime anyone plays anything, they draw a card, you draw a card. Now you just have, like, board presence compared to the 2K Mystrios, and you have your own Mist. So I like that in a Mystrios meta for sure. Maybe as an anti-Mist tech in your also Mystrios deck, so you just, like, you're drawn. Doesn't matter what your opponent's doing, you're gonna draw.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because it shares the same space with of course I forget the Olorus,
Yeah.
the other 5-drop Angel Command that can attack, and then Valkyr.
You can drop your
That's just
Psyforce for it.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Cyforce could drop for it, but at that point, why aren't we just playing Valkyr? So
I would
yeah,
play
this
this
could
over
be a cute.
Valkyr. I'd try
Yeah,
this over Valkyr.
this could be a cute, couple of in a deck like that that's not trying to just be super mid rangey. Yeah, don't hate
Or
it.
Pegasus as well, but yeah, I guess.
I love
Yeah,
the
maybe
art.
that card will see play on the channel again. We'll never know.
Which one?
Moving on. So I'm
It
moving.
does
So
help,
now,
just to go back to it for a second.
yeah, for sure.
There are other, like there is one card that will come up during this vid, where your opponent will draw a lot of cards a lot of the time, and it would be a card that if DM13 was able to be played by English players, that if there is that mass draw going on a lot more commonly, I think maybe Asteria would be teched in a bunch.
Oh, so
Actually.
it's the sword, maybe? I'm thinking of the sword, so you
Yeah,
got
for
this on
judgment.
5.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
judgment. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's one of the like 3 cards that I remembered because it's really good. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
a good
It's one of the more notable
preemptive tech.
ones.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
It's
like
one of
that.
the Hall of Fame.
It's a good. Wow, I didn't think it'd be that good, but here we are. All right, let's move on to Inspect Seed. Y'all
It's
ready to
silent
inspect
skill.
some seed?
I think we can skip it.
You wanted more Jowlfish.
We did want
Yeah,
more
did,
shellfish.
did want more jellyfish.
Not just cost.
And even the silent
Not
skill ability,
silent.
just not great. This is not.
Yeah.
That's
good.
the problem with the silent skills. They're generally always overcosted, and even if you did have the whole what is it, Mystic Magician support for them entering packets.
Burning lizard, yeah, whatever the
Yeah,
other
you
one
gotta
was. Yeah.
keep them protected, and that's just tough because you gotta set up some blocker wall or whatever, and then their effect generally isn't worth it.
Yep, absolutely. And
Yep.
unfortunately, and it's a rare too. This is just
Like
the
they
most
just
feel
don't,
back
they
pack.
just never bring their cost and power curves where you want them, and then they're just slow. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the pack you don't want to open. I think we can move on safely. Don't know
Yeah.
that there's much else to talk about here.
I already did.
Pacific Champion is fun though. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
remember off the
Pacific
top of
Champ.
my head what Merfolk Bait exists, but the effect is actually quite cool.
Illusory
This was one thing
merfolk.
I did
Yeah.
set up ahead of time.
Yeah. So do we get a 1-drop merfolk
no.
in this set?
In this set, no. That's the unfortunate thing. Because
Okay.
if English players were just to go, oh, we've got DM13 now, we can go with that. Cool. And just for, I guess, fact's sake, DM13 was released March 26, 2005. The main card that you would want to play in this deck is a card called Fistblader, who is exactly like Marine Flower, a 1-drop 2000 blocker, can't attack, but it's a merfolk. So obviously
Nice.
your ideal curve is just dropping that turn 1, just like you would do an Aqua Guard into Crystal Spin Slicer. Basically the exact same. 2 for 5 up. Basically the same. But obviously with the whole he can't be attacked or blocked thing by non-evos, which generally not relevant. Although in the cases of just being able to not be attacked, it's great. Unlike Spin Slicer, who could still get blocked. And
Yeah, it
gets
seems
killed by
great.
like any block removal. Yeah, oh, he is.
Unblockable? Yeah,
He's pretty
nullify the
great. It's
Belix. Yeah.
just, it is that, it's the race thing that hurts him the most.
In
Yeah.
English,
Blader helps.
specifically.
Yeah, in English specifically. But the thing is, and I brought up the fact that this set was March 26, 2005. Fistblader was actually in like a side pack product, DMC 21, but it was released in February that year. So it's like it did come out previously. And I would definitely argue if people wanted to play Pacific Champion, I would probably also let them like proxy and play Fistblader for their decks. But yeah, that's enough. I mean, like, it seems fair if it came
Right,
out the months before. Like
right. At
there's two
that point,
cards that came out in those other decks and
we're
packs.
we're
Yeah,
in the weeds. Yeah, we're
yeah. Most of those decks or packs only had like one or two other cards that weren't already in a major set, and it's like they should totally be allowed as well. But that's probably a future video thing, and yeah.
yeah. That's yeah. Like I said, at that point, I think we're way too far in the
I
weeds
think
to try to make
so
specific
yeah, so
champion
without
relevant.
Fistblader, I don't think you can really make it work. With it, you can definitely make like a mono water aggro with this and the other liquid people engine, and it would go great. Just you don't
Mhm.
need to do anything else. Just full water.
That could
I
be
mean,
cute.
liquid people can already kind of manage it, but with this as well, yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, that
That
sounds
would be
good.
cute. That brings us into our first darkness rare, Belzeber.
Stop
Belzeber,
being
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub. Beelzebub, nearly.
Emperor of Death. An evolution of Dark Lord. So we get another one of this. Dark Lord's really trying to make us play them by giving us evolutions that are just okay. Whenever another creature's put into the battle zone, that creature's owner chooses a card from his mana zone and puts it into his graveyard. Um, that's neat,
Yeah,
right?
cool
Like,
effect. Not a horrible stat line. I think the thing that's holding it back for me is playable Dark Lords. I don't know if
That
Michael,
is
if you have
no, that's
anything.
exactly the issue. No, that's exactly the issue. You didn't really get any in this set either,
Dang,
and no, they're
yeah,
all too high costed.
it's a
yeah.
They're
There's
shame.
all
a
going to be at
couple of
least, yeah.
well, there's two 5-drop ones, right? That basically do the same thing by like taking a shield away when they swing. Am I getting that right? I think there's one at least that does that.
Pashuna, Sword
You have
Dancer, Photoside. Wait, Photoside's a
No, but
demon.
yeah,
no. You're
Voticide
talking
and
about
Vashuna are
general.
both
Yeah, there's
demons.
general dark fiend that does
Uh,
it at 5 costs when it
Right.
attacks and is a double breaker. You have a 4-drop Baraga who does it just when it enters battlefield.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. If I spend
And
all that mana
base
on a 4 or 5 drop, I don't really want to evolve a 6 drop on top of it usually.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
just
thing. Yeah, you are spending 10 mana for this. Is 10 mana worth this? And losing a shield as well.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other good Dark Lord you have is actually one of your Wave Strikers. Hazaria is one.
Oh yeah.
He's a 4-drop. Of course, you wouldn't have any other Strikers in the deck, so he's just
That's
kind of
right.
a 4 for 2000 vanilla half the time as well. So yeah,
Yeah. Do I put the Dark Lord
But
in the
if
Wave Striker deck or the Wave Striker in the Dark Lord deck? It's
yeah,
just
exactly. Doesn't really
either
work.
way. It's
but if I have 12 mana and 3 Hazarias in my hand, I'm wiping them.
I'm moving on. Hey, oh my
Speaking of wave
goodness.
strikers, yeah,
Yeah.
Trombo Fracture Doll. So this is, I think, the very first like fun, very playable in its deck type card, right? Trombo saw quite a bit of play with wave strikers. Just wave striker ability 2 for 1. Whenever you put this creature into the battle zone, you may return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. Just a fun
With
way
a
to
pop charger,
cycle your wave
obviously, too.
strikers. Yeah,
I
and
guess without the mana acceleration, but yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's another cheap death puppet for the card that needs it for sympathy later, which we'll get into with some of the super rares in a moment. But yeah, just a
Even just
playable
running it by
wave
itself as a death
striker.
puppet, it's fine. You probably won't ever get the ability, but yeah.
Right,
Oh
because at
yeah.
that point you have this in Juncats, I think, which is the 2 for 2 one, um, vanilla. But yeah, this
Is Lupa
so
Lupa 2. Lupa Poison Tip Doll is just like strictly better if you're not doing the Wave Striker thing, right?
oh yeah, the one that
Yeah.
taps and gives something Slayer. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is I think this card's cute in the Forcive Wave Striker deck throwing around for season 3, wink wink.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
mean, the only reason you really go darkness for that is Jagilla, but Jagilla is totally worth it. So it's like, why not?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, at this point you just throw him in there and he's a way to just kind of be the Grave Worm associate for survivors. But do that for Wave Strikers, just help you cycle them out a little bit. Like a pseudo uncanny turn up that just gives you a +1 when you've got your Wave Striker effects rolling. So
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, if you have 2 Wave Strikers on board, you have a good amount of mana. This comes out and gives you something from discard that you can play, and then you have 4 Wave Strikers, which is a lot harder for your opponent to get you back down
Yeah.
to not having the effects quickly, unless
Yeah,
they have
and,
mass
and
removal.
and that's right, and that's the important thing to note too for those of you who just are reading between the lines. It's just return a creature. It doesn't have to be a wave striker. So
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
main benefit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, just grab anything
Probably
that
not
may
going to
have
have
been
many in your deck that aren't anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
right. But
You can get
yeah,
that mystery aspect or whatever it is.
You have a
Just in
bronze
case.
arm or something. Yeah, who
Yeah.
knows? Or your Pyrofighter Magnus got discarded. I don't know.
yeah,
Oh, this has a
absolutely.
lot of text. Spiritual Star Dragon. That was bumming me out.
It's
Fairly simple as it goes along, though.
All right, when you put this
it's
creature in the battle
Tatsurion.
zone, search your deck. You may take that oh my god, it is. You may take an
It's kinda
evolution
Tatsurion, look
creature
good.
that evolves from a dragon. Show that evolution creature to your opponent. Put it in your hand. Okay.
Yeah,
Bigger Velrika,
it's
but like very specific.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Velrika with a lot more text, right? So it's, I mean, nah, it has an extra 1,000 power on top of that, which is cute. But yeah, I
Yeah.
guess and maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like players were really high on the Terror Dragon, the Bala scale won the evolution for nature and the evolution for weakness. Am I right or am I wrong there? But like
You're
Sorry, what
talking
was
to
that?
me or Yami?
I missed that
Yami
bit.
in general, just the evolutions of other dragons that weren't armored,
I
if
remember
that
them.
makes
They
sense.
were like cool, but like I don't think they were ever good in English at
That's what I'm
all.
saying. So like I could see this card being great like 20 sets from now when we have all of this amazing dragon evolution support. But I think on paper at DM13 where we stand at the moment,
Well,
I don't know.
basically, yeah, I think the only real reason this card was I mean, yes, like it does support Bejewelor and stuff as well, but so does Bellaraka.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it does support the whole Darkness or Nature, other ones from DM8. But the real focus of why it was included is for, well, the namesake card of the set, Eternal Phoenix, who
Yeah.
we'll get to much
We
later on.
haven't gotten there yet.
Um,
Carl wanted to wait until
we
the end
haven't
for the
got that yet.
supers.
We could come back, but
Yeah,
the
it's
fact
fine.
is that its search is still super limited. And if you were to play this card as a 7-drop, there's no way you aren't playing nature or water. So there's no, I would not, even though this does have a creature body, which is, it's fine. Like its stat line is fine. And it's a dragon as well. So sure, you can support it with Coco Lupia or whatever. And this can obviously then be evolution bait for it. But you've got Dimension Gate, you've got Crystal Memory. Use those. Use Camilla even. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've got better search. You've
Use
got
better
better and
cards.
quicker search that you would be using in the deck. You're not going to be
But
Absolutely.
mono fire.
I could see where you'd want to just kill two birds with one stone just to lower the deck count, right? Like, yeah, you can play a different better dragon and different better search, but like getting 80% of the power level with like being able to combine the two effects into one card, like Eureka, right? Like you don't need to play it. You could just play like more Medius, more memories, but it's nice to be able to have one card that is a
Yeah, the
threat and
idea
a
is that I
search.
guess if you want to use both.
Yeah.
So sure.
I like this in a very specific deck that I don't know that it exists and is good, but we'll see how good Eternal
I think
Phoenix
its
is
main
later.
use is really just Phoenixes, but yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's even worth it for that.
fair.
Yeah.
There's like Coca Lupia joke there somewhere. Carl, Coca Lupia ramps you into the dragons. You gotta play him before turn 6, good buddy.
Sure does. Cocolupia makes Death Phoenix
Turns it into
cost
a flop.
2.
All right.
That's something to be said there.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
we've got Nemanex support. After it breaks a shield, destroy this creature at the end of the turn. Oh, boo. Then each player chooses a card in his mana zone and puts it in his...
Before I could already set a YouTube comment. Death Phoenix is just a Phoenix. Its cost isn't getting reduced, but never mind. Moving on.
Yep.
Were you wrong? Oh, you was wrong. Okay, yeah.
I was wrong. Yeah, as soon as I said it, I was like, I'm just leaning into it. Here we go.
Okay.
I got you, YouTube comment. Stop typing angry now.
I was just
No,
making fun of
please,
Carl having Coca Lupia on turn 3 and not playing it. That was my whole joke.
Have to increase the engagement. You don't understand. Yami's leaning into it now too.
Oh, I want to know how
it
you
is.
play Death Phoenix. I want to know the game where somehow on turn 3 you're Coco Lupia and then turn 4 you've got a Death Phoenix. So I'm great with that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Christian, this Xeno part's not great.
But you can do that. You can play like 2-drop Coca Lupia, Innocent Hunter. They break your rapid reincarnation. You sack the 2-drop and play Death Phoenix. Does that work?
Just get the best triggers. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it's possible.
Is it? We'll write it down later.
Yeah. Metz's Iron. That's a bummer of an effect.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they punished anything with mana burn. I mean, which makes sense, but yeah, It does not work.
I mean, after giving us Fortress Shell in the second set, I think they started to backpedal quite a bit. So
I wonder if the Japanese players realized Fortress Shell was good faster than we did. Because, like, yeah, Fortress Shell is incredible, but, like, even though, like we were talking earlier, Carl,
I
like, it
think
was probably the
since
best
they
deck.
had the faster meta, they kind of it never really was a thing.
Oh, true.
To be
But it
honest,
wasn't
yeah.
a thing in English. I wonder if the devs realized, oh god, we made Fortress Shell way too good, but they've never noticed. It's fine. Let's just pretend we didn't do it.
Yeah, you needed the meta to stagnate for about 18 years, and then
Yeah.
that's when it starts coming a deck up now.
Yeah, it really fermented.
No, even if this was like when destroyed, it just slow, yeah.
yeah, it's just worse Kipo, right? Like in
Yeah,
almost every
exactly, yeah.
metric. Yeah. So,
Ground
It's a
giant.
mana burn you can use.
I was gonna say, yeah, this takes us to a fun green card though, Ground Giant. So I love effects like this where they get extra power based on some mechanic, and in this case,
Yeah.
it's for each civilization in the battle zone. So he does count for himself, correct? So he's always going to be for 3,000. And then
Right.
any other 2 cards on that aren't giant, or any other two, any other 2 colors that you're playing that aren't
Nature.
that aren't
Carl.
nature. Yeah, give them the effect. Civilization and races. Shut me up. You guys go.
The word nature isn't
my
written
God.
on the card, no.
It's true. Maybe it should be just for Carl. And it's not green. Green is a civilization. I think this card is sick. We were talking about how like it's sort of pincer scaraby. I have never played with this card, so I don't know. And we noticed pincer scarab that was a good card later than most, I think. But I don't know if this is like a thing that would replace pincer scarab and is just strictly better in practice, or if maybe you play them both and you just have a critical mass of humongous 4-drops. You can't. I don't think you should play this in a 2-color water nature deck, and that's where you can play Pincer Scarab. So that's a point for Pincer Scarab. But this is a much better
It's
card
kind
if
of
you're playing
pointless.
3-color.
You gotta play 3 at least, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
This would
no
be
way you
great.
play this in a 2-color deck. That's
Yeah.
pointless.
So like if you want to play water nature, Pincer Scarab can be your 4 of choice. But maybe like water fire nature or dark nature fire. This could
Light
be
water
really
nature,
sick.
yeah.
Yeah, light water nature. Yeah. Anything that gives you
You know, we
a
were
good
making
2 or
fun of
3.
Carl a second ago for saying, oh, forgetting nature. But until just now, even though I've been looking at these cards for 2-3 weeks now, just on and off random days, reading up on all this stuff for background info, I somehow spaced on the fact that it does say battle zone and not mana, which is slightly relevant for a combo thing that I was going to bring up.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah, if
so
it
that
said
does
mana,
kind
I
of
think it would
look.
be broken, right? Like it
Yeah,
always comes down as
basically.
a 7 or 9k.
Well, basically, with the combo of what I was going to bring up with the card later, definitely.
Yeah,
That does it hurts it a bit, but
right.
its main focus, other than just being a 7,000 beater some of the time, or maybe even 5,000. I mean, 5,000
Yeah.
is fine. At least stat wise, but it's going to be used. The fact that it's a giant is what helps it the most, actually.
Interesting.
For later sympathy that we'll see.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, even standalone, I think this is pretty handily the best card we've looked at for constructed. Like I
Yeah.
would slot it into decks today, so excited to
Yeah.
see the sympathy support later. That makes it even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I do think this card would find its way into like the tribal decks and the light water.
And that's good timing for Courtney to come up.
Yeah.
Because Courtney would have been the card that I would have made a dumb comment bringing it up for the last one.
Yeah. 2
Oh
costs.
yeah, if the
Yeah,
giant was mana,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, this just
Oh,
unlocks
yeah.
it and makes
Because
it
it
an
would have
11,000
unlocked 4 or
power
5
bomb.
colors, then 1,000, yeah.
If it said
7,000
mana,
right off
it
the
would
bat.
always come down at 7 or 9 or 11. It's just absurd. But Courtney is cool. 2 for 2k. Meh. But then cards in your mana zone are considered to be cards of every civilization. I'll tell you this. I am putting together a 5 civilization control deck for hopefully that Carl will be convinced to put in the play-in for season 3, and this would be quite nice to have in that. Because boy, I can already taste the mana screw coming my way.
Now you were saying you liked cards like that cared about like specific races or civs. Do you remember the other card that cared about having like every civilization for its power?
Nope.
Yeah,
It wasn't in the
Elixir.
card.
Yeah,
Oh,
Elixir.
Elixir.
You
Oh
have
yeah.
Elixir.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm
That's in
saying.
my
Yeah.
terrible
At
file.
least
I thought you meant
Elixir.
this set. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, no, not this
Yeah,
set. But yeah, in general, you could use this with Elixir because even just having, you don't even need any other
it's
civilization in
true.
the deck. I mean, you still probably should have 3 or so, whatever. But just with Courtney out, Elixir does turn into its full form and have, what is it, 16,000 power,
It's like
triple break it.
16,000
Yeah,
triple breaker for 5 or
yeah,
6 mana. Yeah, depending on what you're trying to do with it.
that's a very big Angel Command right there.
Yeah.
Angel Command beatdown. Nobody would have expected it.
Yeah, my first thought was like preventing mana screw in my terrible 5 civ deck, but yeah, that's probably better. Is just
It's
making
fine. It's
Elixir
just a
like
2-drop,
15k.
even for just Fire Nature. It's like it's fine.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? On
If you do 3
it's
colors, yeah, any 3-color aggro deck can even just use a copy or 2. It just sort of helps, especially if you are using a couple extra multicolored cards like Queen Maiden later on. It's nice for any other light fire nature, light water fire, or whatever combination. Yeah,
yeah.
it just
Yeah,
helps.
because even stat-wise on paper, this
And
card
yeah,
is
5,
just
I mean,
fine.
if you're doing
Yeah.
4 or 5 civ, it just obviously helps you completely if you get it out early because all your mana worries are basically gone as long as it's alive.
And it's another one of those snow fairies that can lean into our, very rare from earlier,
Yeah, it is
which was a
great
lot of fun.
for Golza. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah,
Or even Diamondia. Like,
yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Shout outs to oh yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, shout outs to nature, right? Nature knocking it out of the park. They're rares here. Good
Courtney's
work,
definitely one of the
DM13.
more notable cards in the set.
Yeah.
Oh no, tech issues.
No, no, no. Carl sent these to me 5 at a time, so every 5 I have to go back into the
Ah,
messages.
okay, I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I sure did. I think I sent them to Christian the same way I sent them to you, Yannick.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It got there though. Oh, we are on to the enemy
It's a fun one.
combination spells. I think there's a
Yeah,
cycle of these,
This has
right?
been
So
our first spell today, I think. Yeah, it has. Yep.
yeah, I think there's a
yeah. The
cycle of these,
grave
so
of
one of each combination.
yeah. So the grave
Yeah.
of angels and demons. You and I were talking about this a little bit, Yami, but I think this card, and you're right. While on paper, this card seems really, really good. I think this is a trap card, is the way I described it to CVH. I think it's just seems really good on paper, and in practice, it's always just kind of meh.
I don't think we're reading the same piece of paper because like this does not look good. This doesn't even. It's not a trap. It's just never gonna proc, right?
Well,
It's just not.
right. When I say trap card, like I think it like gets the casual player into thinking, "Oh, I've got to
Yeah,
jam this in a deck because it's going to kill two things," and it's like very rarely does it ever.
yeah. I just wouldn't. I don't think I would say that. Maybe I'm giving people too much credit. I don't think there are too many people who would see this and be like, "Oh, it's really good." I think people would be like, "What? That doesn't happen that often." I mean, yeah, like 1 out of every 20 games, it's gonna kill two Gantas as a shield trigger. And then you're like, "Huh, nice, marginally better than Terrapit." But then every other game is just dead, which is really sad. I mean, impacting the mana is cool. I'm glad they gave it that flexibility.
It is
And
quite
it's a
cheap,
thing
though, to be
people aren't
fair.
going to think about that too, right? Like people just throw cards in mana sometimes and they don't really realize like, oh, if they're playing like 3 cards of the same name in their mana, like you started with all your Aqua Surfers, like yeah, this is going to be blowout game winning potential, but that's such a rare situation. Um very cool idea. It's the
Yeah,
kind of thing that
it,
if there's really no way to make it good because if they made a card like this good, it
right.
would be overpowered.
Like this is one of those cards that I think finds its way, if ever it finds its way into constructed play. It's like a single tech card in foul controls, especially in
Do
like
you
the
think it was ever
IBC meta,
used?
where that would say that again.
I said, so do you think it was ever used then? Like in JP play?
I mean, maybe like especially depending on how some of the strategies worked out later on. Probably,
Right.
I could see that being something very powerful in some metas where this card just needs to get rid of things that happen by having like multiple things of the same name. But I mean, to
Yeah.
that point, like, and again, I'm rating these cards completely just based on where
Oh,
we're
one in each
at
tab. That's
DM. Yeah,
absolutely
1 through
fine. Yeah.
12,
Of course.
but
Of course.
I think this card, if it ever sees play, it sees it as like the one of tech and foul controls, where like you want to be able to toolbox this card when your opponent does accidentally like lean into it.
Well,
Um,
basically, as both of you were saying, it really was one of those things where control decks, it did just use 1 or 2 copies. You never like went the full 4. I didn't see any deck lists for it. It is, however, still kind of listed as one of the set's notable cards, just because it is still very cheap. Like sometimes you might have to hardcast it to kill 2 things, but there is the case of if they don't have a double anywhere, it doesn't do anything. So it's like it is a dud. However, as the light darkness, the fact is their meta did have a big. I mean, like they had Bombazar, and it wasn't banned for a while after this set, so that was still running around. Being able to kill off little things pre-Bombazar was great, obviously. Like, yeah, maybe you did need to get rid of 2 Gaunters. Any defense helps, but just setting up your early colors is really what helped it. Especially since they had the better Merino Mancer with Aquan for
True.
light and darkness support as well. That's one of the big differences that changes decks that I looked up to what we have as an English meta is Aquan shaped a whole lot of stuff. Just having a 4-drop that would draw you up to 5 cards if they were light or darkness. It changed a whole bunch of the meta. So having this being, well, I mean, both civs, obviously those control decks were the only thing. They were basically the meta that wasn't Bombazar. It was Bombazar and Light Water Darkness control in some form. So this was used quite a bit.
Interesting. Yeah.
There's even a term of using like similar cards to try to avoid this. It was like called Avoid Grave, sort of. Where like if there was a card that did like the same thing, but it was a different name.
Like
So like a
Loco and
Burning Ray.
Gigabalza. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of that thing. Yeah, that's a great example actually. Much better than the vanilla one I was going to use. Yeah, you would do stuff like that with different names just to avoid grave, and there was no reason not to if you didn't care about the race.
I thought Aquan was a 4-cost 2000 with the actual Merino Mancer effect, and
No,
it's just
it goes
5.
No,
to
it
5.
was 5. That is busted. Yeah,
I don't know
it was
how they.
absolutely one of the first restricted for a reason. Yeah, it was been banned. It was banned for a long time. It only recently actually got released.
How do they design?
It was banned for a
How
good
do they
20
design
years.
a card that can draw you 5 on a stick? They can't keep getting away with this, everybody.
It
This
did
card
get
is
Merino Mancer later on, actually, as like a
That's good.
promo thing. But yeah,
Wow,
yeah, Aquan was busted.
that is something. All right, I'm gonna hit us with the next card if y'all are ready.
I am.
Yeah, I think Grave could be shown up in a deck or two, but yeah,
Yeah.
one copy.
It's metal. This is funny. It's Mir Max, and then the Kaijudo version was called Metal Max.
Yeah.
That's good.
A mobile visor. It can attack untapped creatures. This creature can't attack players, however, and when it wins a battle, I may untap it. The
And it
unfortunate thing
costs
for this card is
6.
that it costs $1 million.
Yes, thanks.
It's
Damn it.
incredibly expensive, and look how much power it has, guys. 3,000. That's weak.
Even for 3, the fact that it can't attack players hurts it a lot. But at least
Yeah.
like you could understand it from like a Stragandu sort of.
That's right. So like
Kind of killing off.
even as like a 3 for 3, still maybe play this card.
It
Like,
needed
Yeah,
at least more
yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Like you could at
Right.
least have some fun killing off things, but it needed more power.
I'm so
At least
glad they
5K
they
out of
kept the lore of like Max being this card art, but they also like gave it some justice in Kaijudo where they made it above curve. You know, it was like 2 for 3,500 or something, right? 2 for 3, 2 for
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
better than a 6 for 3. For God's sake.
No,
people.
it was 2 for 35. You're
Okay,
right.
thank God. Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
as I think Howard mentioned this when we were talking over some of these cards days ago, is that yeah, a lot of these arts were used in Kaijudo in some form. So
It's like
some of them might be
90% of the
recognizable.
art. Yeah,
It is
90% of this
well,
art was
I
reused.
think the main factor is, of course, all the multicolored stuff. They got it really early in Kaijudo, and where's all that art going to come from for these 2-color cards? Oh, DM13 had a bunch. We'll use that. There's only so many multicolored sets in DM's history that they could have pulled from. So yeah,
I like that.
So,
Ooh, there we go. Fortification
way too
against
expensive to do
barrage
anything.
and ambush.
yeah, here we're gonna start getting into the long text cards. Get ready, guys. Reveal
Yeah.
cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a creature. Destroy all creatures that have less power than that creature. Then put all the revealed cards in the graveyard.
I
It's
dig
cute,
it.
This is
right?
another card that you can read a card so many times, but then even maybe just because it's printed on English on the card, maybe that changes the whole way I see them. But could have sworn it had shield trigger, but
Oh, that'd be
it
nuts.
does not. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You have to hardcast it, and it hurts it a lot. But
it hurts it a lot. I'm already building bad decks in my head that involve this though. I am
Yeah.
playing. I'm
Yeah,
playing the Water
it's
Dark
it's a f-
Fire Dragons. I am accidentally milling Cocolupia.
no.
Well,
If
this
you
is
go with it, you have to go hard. You have to go for the biggest of
I
the
can't
biggest.
even
You
play
can't just
Lupia. Not
settle
for
for
Lupias.
this is
no. You
that
gotta go King Tsunami. You gotta go
right.
Billion Degree. You gotta go for the full 15,000. That is
No,
the only way to build it.
This
Modulas and
leans
Like, if you
Velricas.
use this, you are also doing like the transmogrify engine. That is what you're doing. You're going very
Yeah.
low on creatures, except for like Strummer and something we'll come up with later. And you're
So
just going heavy. This is killing everything.
what Yami doesn't realize is that he's spoiling part of our play-in bracket for season 3, guys.
Oh no!
You said the word. You
CVH and
said the
I
T word. The
Spoilers.
transmogrify.
Well,
CVH
this
and I have
be
been
released later.
tinkering with Transmogrify King Tsunami now. I don't
Oh
know,
no, they're gonna have to stagger this video's release now. Oops.
6 months. Like we're trying to figure it out. But yeah, this card seems like the card that
See you
just
in
leans into
2024,
those
guys.
dumb decks. I don't think this card's good. Like fortifications,
Probably
just
not playing.
but like
Not
even if
playing
it was a
dragons.
shield trigger, yeah, mildly playable, but probably never. Like
If it didn't have to destroy yours, then oh yeah,
yeah,
sure, great.
I
right.
think you are a little. I don't know, man. Cocolupis on the board. Play this in the Water Dark Fire Dragon deck, right? Like you're milling Velricas, Galans. Like you're turn 5, killing everything 6,000 or less. That just
But then
destroys the
maybe you hit the
whole mid-range
Cucalupias.
board.
But
That's the
that's what
problem.
I'm
You're
saying.
gonna
Just
hit
don't
all
hit
those
the
lower
Lupia.
creatures.
It's killing your board.
I don't have a board, Carl. I'm just playing Energy Stream Volcano Charger before then. You build the deck a little differently. This
You
is
have
no
to
longer
go
an Aqua
heavy
Hulkus deck.
spells,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Spiral Gates. You can play Bloody Skeeto still. That's
35
fine.
spell. Yeah.
If you
This
play
is
Bloody
that
Skeeto, no, no,
Glias
no, no, no.
Magicula, that other card deck where it's like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to win the game? No, you're just trying to be annoying.
No, you clear the board
Like
on
I've got a fun
5.
combo. It's not gonna get me anywhere, but it's fun.
You
You're
clear the
right.
board on
Like
5, and that it makes the board a little bit easier for you to play your dragons on top of because they don't have anything trying to kill you. You can still play your 4 Skeetos because it's like turn 5 Blizzard of Spears. That's great.
Well, at
I,
least if you're gonna kill on your stuff, no, you need some draw out of it at least.
Yeah.
oh
Which
my
Well,
yeah,
you
god.
can do that
judgment
too.
later, yeah.
Play both cards in the horrible
You would
dragon
play
deck.
both. Yes, you would.
The deck isn't good.
CVH is playing devil's advocate here.
Well, I think
I've been
that's a later follow-up video where we have decks for these stuff. But yeah,
I've been ready to move on since we said the word fortification.
Yes. Carl's wrong.
well, let's move on when we're on another Akashic.
Yeah.
As fun as
Akashic
So
Shishai
Fate.
is, but yeah,
this card becomes super relevant like 30 sets later, correct?
that is true.
Yeah.
22
So
cents.
there you go. Right. So
Yeah,
whenever this
25,
creature
yeah.
Yeah, whenever this creature battles, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a creature. This creature becomes that revealed creature until the end of the turn, and you put all the other revealed cards in your graveyard. Yeah, I mean it's sort of neat for like random strategies that might play like a bigger top end, but like
Like, I wish
unless
it
you're
wasn't
going for
just on
like
the battle. So
Yeah,
at least
isn't
right,
you could
this
do it when it attacked and it swapped into something, but it has to be when it actually fights a creature.
isn't
yeah,
this just pretty good if you're like nature water aggro and like your opponent played an Aquahulgus and they attack it and then you just reveal something that's bigger than Aquahulgus?
right.
Yeah,
That's
it's too random. I mean, you don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna get,
Of
and it
course
could
right.
still
not.
be totally small and lose again. Like, yeah, then you're down 2 cards for nothing.
You're
You
right,
know,
and that's the hope, right? Like you're
it's got
hoping
good
your opponent
racers. It's got
right.
that going for it.
Yeah, and that's the hope, right? It's like this card gets played in those tempo-y rush aggro decks that play these colors, and it's just hoping that your opponent swings into it and
If you were doing some
low
sort of
rolls.
like light water nature zoo thing with both Cyberlords and Beastfolk,
Yeah,
and then Petrova could pick either race and it'd be alright.
It's
But
yeah.
cute, yeah.
Gives you reasons to run
it
like
could then turn
illusionary
into a
merfolk and
Petrova.
stuff.
I don't know.
But this card, yeah, when I was reading the site that too, when we were talking about the set, like this card had some like wild combinations that it could play into like much later in DM.
It's
That
unfortunate that it doesn't like actually turn into the creature. Like whatever it flips over, that thing doesn't stay. That would
yeah,
obviously change the whole bunch.
right,
That would be absurd, right?
right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just cute on curve. Like I said, this card sees play when these colors are being played, and it gives you reason to lean into the Cyberlord and Beast Folk. engines
that.
that come along with it. So yeah, it's a good card. It's
And
a good cost, and it's got a neat effect that's kind of annoying for your opponent sometimes.
besides Petrova, it also lets you take the Merfolk route if you're one of those aggressive decks more consistently, because now you have like total of 8 2-drop Cyberlords you can play, and I would say
Yeah.
that's good enough.
Unfortunately, Petrova kind of antis itself on this card though, because like even when it battles, if you flip over something with 1,000, it's just gonna lose that power again. So
Oh yeah, you got to keep the 1,000 power creatures to a minimum, but I'd say if your only
yeah,
other 1,000 power is Emerald, then
And
like
that card's going away to the graveyard too.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So neat card for sure. I could see this scene play in decks that play these races and these colors for sure.
I dig it, to be honest, and I don't dig a lot. But let's go on to another Spirit Quartz. Oh god,
Are you sure we
we
haven't
already
seen
did
this
this
one
one.
already?
Whenever this creature types, return a card from mana zone or shield zone to your hand. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
the same thing but
It's so weird.
reversed.
Yeah. It's incredibly mind melting. You think you've seen it. Yeah.
yep.
Why they thought, I don't know, they must have really liked this design and thought, oh, we have to make it 2 cards. We can't just put the effect on the same thing or something. Like, I don't even think that would have been too busted, but maybe with the shield changes, they thought it would. I
It's
don't know.
like a Steven Universe situation. You got like the 2 gems. Yeah, they're like the same thing, but
I'm having a moment. Are these not the same card?
no. The other one does the
This,
absolute
the other
reverse where you
one, yeah,
put a
the other
card
one
into
added.
your.
This one returns.
Ah, yes. Okay, got it. All right, it's all coming together. How about that?
I would
Yeah,
say
sure
this
enough.
one is better,
So
but
it kind of,
Yeah.
you'd really say this one's better? The return? You wouldn't
well,
think
all
adding a
right.
shield is stronger? Adding a
Well,
trigger?
in draft, I guess the other one would be better. In constructed, this one is potentially better because I'm just playing those mid-range race battles less, but it's not good in constructed. So I guess the other
Yeah.
one's better just because at least it's good in draft. They're both good in draft, though. I'd play them both in draft. They're just big.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
I think either way. I mean, this
Realistic, why
card
not?
tries to accomplish. I mean, it's a giant. This card is literally a giant sniper mosquito on wheels, a giant whatever that card is, Baraga on wheels. Like it's just, but it's the
Could
cool thing
have some
about this
sort of
is
loop going with
right.
charges or something. Yeah.
Right, you get to choose, but then you also get to like it's drawing a card when it attacks. Like that's essentially what this effect is, with
Yeah.
a little bit more utility in the sense that you know what you're pulling back if you're hitting your mana. So yeah, I like it. It's cool. Like Christian said, I don't know if it's necessarily constructed playable if you're in these
No,
colors. It
I
depends.
don't think there were really decks for either of them,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, for sure. So
The limited.
unfortunate, but
Pick one, pack one. Give me
yeah,
the quartz.
It was maybe like a 5-drop at least after bronze armor or something, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. At 5 or
Or a better
7, it would be
race.
good.
Or a better race. Even if it was just giant or something.
This card is also limited playable and not a thing in constructed, unless Lightbringers
Yeah.
have some crazy support that I haven't seen yet.
Nope.
Yeah, this kind of falls in that same category with all those other silly cards that get effects based on having things tapped and or not tapped. Like almost all of really saw play. I think
I
Spinning
mean, it's
Terror
not
is
even
the
really like
one.
evolution bait. There's better
Yeah,
ones.
right. Like
And
Lightbringers is
you only have
bad.
Wise Starnoid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
English
cute.
only has Wise Starnoid.
I
Yeah,
think the tap effects
neat.
and when attacked effects are so much more relevant in limited because limited is always about those creature combat situations and all
Even
decks are
then,
really
I
trying
don't
to
like
attack
it.
each other.
If it was a 2-drop, my opinion would change a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, 3 just takes it right out of any sort of
Yeah.
construction playable. So,
Oh yeah.
moving on.
Do I have to get to the next message now? Nope. Zareem Crawler. Yikes,
Yeah,
dude.
Yep.
yeah. Again, just not great. Come on, man.
That's
If you're
just
gonna
one of the
limit
things
me,
you get with these multi-sets where they do a lot of color hate and it just doesn't work most of the time. It
I
doesn't
just
work here. It
like
doesn't
The
work
weird
in
thing
Magic
is,
most
like,
of the time.
even
Yeah.
even as a bad card that you know is gonna be pretty bad, you could at least make it 5 for 5.
well, that's
Yeah.
so right. So
Sure. Yeah.
I was gonna pose the question to you two. How much power does this card need before it ever sees play in a constructed deck?
8.
Because I would say until you're getting to like 8 or 9,000 power, I don't even know that this card is. I even sniff. Like
Oh
I
wait,
don't.
wait, wait, wait. Yeah, we already have the answer to that with Photo Side. It's 5 for 9,
Right.
right? And
So
it's
that
finally
right.
almost good enough to be a one of sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and that's the
They
thing.
Yeah.
need
It's like
some sort
this.
of tap engine to make them worth it to kill off
Yeah.
stuff the rest of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. This card's just not good. Yeah.
At least 8.
Super unfortunate.
And you can do
It
better things. You've got like
needs.
Trench Scarab and stuff that could do that way cheaper as well. Yeah.
Yeah. This needs to at least kill Bolmedius for me to care.
It's an Earth Eater, but
Great.
that's not good enough for later Sympathy stuff.
Ooh, Hedrian, it's time to see if this changes the game for old Hydras. When you put it in the battle zone, return an evolution
helps
creature from your
Hydras.
graveyard turn. Oh my god, it kind of does. That's cute.
Yeah.
Helps Hydras.
Yeah.
It's spent. I mean, I think the 4 is a bit much for it though. That's the
Yeah.
unfortunate part.
I would.
Yeah, I wish.
I wouldn't
I
play
wish
it in
this
Again,
card
Hydras.
was.
just one cost cheaper.
I wish this
Yeah.
card was 3 for 2. I think 3 for 2. This card picked
It just
bait
needs to
for
make the
those
vanilla test. Yeah.
like Water Dark Evo decks, but like, yeah, I think 4 for 3 just takes it slightly out of contention. Maybe it seems play as a guys who because it's a spell, but like even still, I just think it's too expensive.
Yeah, I would be going with
Bonus
Zombie
point
Carnival.
to anybody who can name the creature that he's getting out of that grave.
I would say that is that's the
It's totally
demon. That's
recognizable.
yeah, it's the Dark Lord Evo from set 11, right? What's his name? The
Set
very
11, yes.
it's a very rare. Oh my god,
Devil
what's his
Mask,
name?
actually.
Devil Mask. Thank you. Oh, it's a Devil Mask. Okay, I thought it was a
Evil
Dark Lord.
Incarnate.
Evil Incarnate. Yeah,
No, Devil Mask.
I thought that was a Dark Lord.
Alandre.
What's the name of the card?
Evil Incarnate.
It's called Evil Incarnate. Yeah,
I'll switch to the next card and Google it. I'll see who's right. It's probably Michael though.
it's very much Michael. So let's see.
Locked
Next
in-
card. Oh,
yeah.
Wait, where are you at?
Evil Incarnate's
I
and
just
Devil
went-
Mask. I went to 24 and we're on Lock and Dude Jaruba. Am I wrong?
No, you're
Yeah,
right, and
yeah,
it's another silent skill, and it's bad.
Whoa.
Yeah, in my opinion. Like, the
Yeah.
effect is fine, but the fact that it's on silent skill, way too slow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Moving on,
I mean,
because
you
3
want to
for
be breaking
2.
shields, you don't want to be clearing creatures with this, and if it was by itself, or whatever else silent skills you had tapped, it's 2,000, you're not killing much off anyway.
yeah. I just again, silent skills
You're
just.
trading with other Hulkers, like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Well, that's you're right. Well, I mean, you're not even trading with Holkus, right? This is like 3 turns later. You're finally
Oh, I
attacking
guess this
untapped
isn't trading
creatures.
with the Hulkers since
Right.
it has to be tapped. It's your other
Right.
stuff. That, yeah.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. The other stuff that it's giving the ability to attack untapped cards. You play this on turn 3. Turn 4, you're attacking with it to get it tapped, and then
Yeah.
turn 5, you're finally able to with else is between
Yeah,
turn
even if
2
it
and
had
4.
speed attacker
Yeah,
from
like,
use it. Yeah.
this card's awful. Like, let's move on.
Oh no.
Funeral Song of the Beasts.
Oh no.
Hey, Brad died. He's good.
There we go. Funeral Song. Each of your creatures in the battle zone gets plus 4,000, and whenever it's attacking your opponent and becomes blocked, it
The
breaks
fact
one
that
of
I
your
forgot
opponent's
this one was in the set
shields.
probably didn't help.
This is
Yeah.
kind of cute. How good is that one charger that does a similar thing?
Right. So Muscle Charger gives everything plus 3,000, and it's a charger, and it costs 1 less. Like, so the ability to give everything trample is cute, but I don't know how much more cute.
Like, it's a step up over Aura Blast, but yeah, Muscle Charger is really the card you got to compare it to.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it
yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, it's very much this is a draft card. You're jamming it in the decks that have nature. It just helps you get over everything else, but otherwise, yeah, this card doesn't see constructed play.
Yeah, unless you really hate or you have a meta full of blocker walls, but even then, no, just
Play other
blocker
cards.
removal. Yeah, yeah.
You got 12
Maybe
more
one
sets.
draft, though.
Let's go back. This card's not Targusher.
Be
Wait.
a better fire nature
Oh yeah.
aggro.
I had to do
just
the thing.
win. Yeah.
6 for 4 whenever it's
Oh, crap,
attacking your
that's another one I
opponent.
forgot about.
Yeah. Tap all your opponent's creatures whenever it's attacking and isn't blocked. Wow, what a way to get that effect. I wish it was Targusher, Carl. I really do. I love Targusher.
Again, this card maybe is a 4 for 4. Like, this effect is really cool. As a 6 for 4, I don't know that it just anything
Yeah,
that
it needs
says
something else. It needs blocker or slayer or needs to do something.
right.
I don't know.
It's just but it's the when it's attacking. Like that's these effects in DM are always difficult
And not blocked
because
as well. Like, if they block it, their stuff isn't getting tapped. Like, yeah.
And then presumably
fact
I'm
that
going to
it
need to
has to
have
get in.
a wide board for this effect to even matter. Otherwise, why do I care that I'm tapping things? So there's just too much that needs to go right. This is
We will
Arguably one
have
of
a
the worst
card
ones we've
later
seen.
that cares about tapping and in light darkness, but they're then also, well, it has sympathy, so it's not really a 6-drop, I guess. But they're still both 6s, and
Yeah,
yeah, they're taking off a slot. It's just too slow.
yeah. I'm not playing this card.
Races don't
Um,
help it. This one's
we
fun though.
do, we do. Yeah. Yeah, moving on to is that Briega, the
Yeah, I'd
Wicked
say Brigger.
Protector?
Yeah.
So Saver this is the first time we're seeing this text, correct? Saver, all races.
Yes and no, actually.
Whenever one of your other creatures would be destroyed, you may destroy this creature instead. It's kind of
There
cute.
is
Is cool.
actually there is actually one English card that did it. It has the effective saver, but they didn't write saver on the English print.
Huh.
You want
Eh,
to take any guesses what the card was?
It can't be
I'll say
something
it's a
that sees a lot of
Firebird.
play.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
it's the Pippy Coopy from Survivors. It's that set. It's
Yep,
or no, it's
Chipoto.
Kip Chipoda. Thank you. I knew it was a
And it,
Firebird that did it for
yep,
Armored
it has
Dragons.
it.
It's one of
When
those.
one of your armored dragons would be destroyed, you may destroy this creature instead. It's the exact same effect, but in
This,
Japan they wrote Saber Armored Dragon. We didn't get it for some really weird. I mean, it was only the one card they had in that set, so it would have been the only English Saber. So I can see why they didn't do it. It's just a weird little bit of trivia.
Hmm.
But
yeah,
yeah, this does it for all races, which means if you are using light darkness and there is some creature that you really don't want to die, this thing totally gets in the way of that. I wish it had blocker as well, at least. You think with Guardian and Brainjacker, like that's kind of what they're known for, I guess. Or at least
yeah.
Guardians are.
Well, that's
But it's still fun. It's yeah.
I wonder, how does it interact with Mass Kill? Like, if I play this in the Mystrios, my opponent plays Searing Wave. Can I
It
nullify the
would
Mystrios
save
part, or?
you would it would save that one creature. Like all things, I'm not going to get into the full detailed rulings of mass removal and saver, but basically you give it sort of like a protection shield sort of thing. So
Okay,
this thing would still die in the searing wave, but the creature you're saving is fine.
nice.
That's the TLDR of it.
Yeah, I like protecting my Mystrios and my Palos and whatever else, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of cute.
yeah.
Yeah, you
That's correct.
do Guardian Trevor stuff,
Well,
blue, yeah. Or
just in
evolve it into Glen of Vule or something. Yeah.
just any mid-range decks that want to play this card, right? I mean, Hydra
Brainjack
Hurricane
doesn't
decks.
really do anything for it, but
Right,
if you're
right.
doing some Guardian stuff, there's no reason not to. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Hydra Hurricane decks, I think like this card maybe a bit sees it as
You
a
would
one or
use this
two
to
up. Yeah,
save the Patrover, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's a good
yeah,
point.
for
Yeah.
sure. It's a cute card for sure.
Another Iron Pot illustration. We were talking about that yesterday, Carl.
It is
Oh
a
yeah,
weird. Oh yeah, it is a weird name to go with.
Yeah. Funno. God, I barely remember what this was. Magma something in Kaijudo. Bloody Winds Officer. Wow, look at these races. Soul Trooper and Melt Warrior. God, we're really getting some good support. It's a blocker.
really,
It's a speed
really leaning
attacker.
into it.
Hey, I've had the
Um,
goal once that I want to choose every race with Petrover by the time I finish and retire playing. And hey, this card gets you 2 races at once.
are you keeping track?
I mean, you can only pick one at a time, but there's 2 in your deck.
Yeah.
Right. So
This would be great
blocker
if it
and
wasn't for
speed
that
attacker.
last
Yeah.
effect, man.
Yeah. Oh
That
man.
is the part that hurts it, but I don't think it matters most of the time,
Okay, okay.
honestly.
I mean, I think right. You're playing this card in decks that already are trying to run just overflow on speed attackers. Like I
Basically,
can.
yeah. I mean, like you see it as like a better
Okay, it's
Rickaboot.
great. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
You
play them
run it
both, but like,
alongside Magnus, or you even use it as a third
yeah,
Magnus Rickaboot. Like
I think that's
that
what I'm
is
seeing because you can
yeah.
play this as your last speed attacker instead of well with long firefighter and everything like
I don't want to
things you want
like
to play
spoil
last.
some yeah. I don't
Um,
want to spoil like gameplay videos or results of who won whatever games, but if you watch the Gauntlet channel, shout out to both of them. And you should because lately they have actually been doing DM13
Yeah, yeah,
decks
yeah.
and they're proxying when I mean, well, they haven't got the proxies for them, but they show up on screen what they do as they're played, and they've showed off the decks as well previously. The in this week of recording, during March, or May, they have had light fire, and the games are quick. Let's put it that way, because when you have those Tulk Braidclaw, the games are over in. I think they did the 2 games in like 3 or 4 minutes. Like it was just that quick. They won. They had to play bonus games, just I guess not to spoil the like they stretch it out to 10 something minutes, just not to spoil the video. They played some extras, but it's fast.
Yeah,
That's
and
funny.
it's good
Like
in the
it does
aggro
what you
mirrors
want to
too.
do.
Like
Like it's
you wouldn't think it
like
would
fire
be, but
nature is
then
strong, but light fire is good. Yeah.
like your opponent plays a 2-drop and attacks or whatever, then you can just use this to speed attack and clear whatever they've attacked with, break shields with whatever you had previously, and they don't even have anything on board to break for free unless they have a speed
And
attacker to
sometimes you
kill it.
might like not attack with it and just have it as a blocker.
Yeah.
Or just like you said, clean up creatures with it. Like its power on curve is strong. Like I do
The
like
fact
this
that
card.
unlike the other light fire ones we saw earlier that can't attack stuff, like can't attack players, this can break through. Yep, does whatever you want it to.
Yeah, this is good. This is definitely like top 3 cards we've seen so far, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on as soon as I hit the right thing. Ooh, Sunstrike.
Yeah, not quite. It does actually. No, this actually. I think Sunstrike Kaijudo though. But destroy one of your opponent's creatures that has power 3,000 or less. Then you may choose one of your opponent's creatures in the battle zone and tap it. And that's just
It's
cool,
very
man.
similar to Sunstrike.
This is
Yeah.
very good, I think.
Yep.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
it's very, very
Fine,
good.
you can easily use it in those zoo decks. Yeah, wave
Yeah.
trackers or something. Yeah,
I'm looking
Absolutely.
up Sunstrike just so I know.
I thought Sunstrike was a
5,000, and it
What's
It
said
Sunstrike?
it's tapping,
was, but it cost
but
6.
it costs 6. It costs
right.
6.
Okay.
It said
Got it.
banish the creature, so destroy it, but otherwise tap it and it doesn't untap. So this is
I mean,
different. This is way, way stronger against rush decks. Not only is
Yeah.
it cheaper, but it always allows you to target 2 things in a
I mean, the
meaningful
prevent
way.
untapping and the prevent untapping on Sunstrike helps a little as well. But yeah,
Sure, but like if I'm just against an aggressive deck, I don't want to choose between banishing and tapping. I want to banish one
being
thing,
able to
destroy the
hard
other thing.
cast this at 5 though.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, hard cast at
this is
5,
really
the
good.
fact that it's a shield trigger, yeah, this is super anti-rush. This makes the tribal deck incredibly viable in those metas. So yeah, I like this card quite a bit. We're getting some bangers. I think that's 3 in a row so far.
Yeah,
Like
shout out to
Yeah,
Light
well, shield trigger
Fire.
helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
Shield
Oh
trigger
yeah,
helps.
absolutely. I don't know how
Didn't
much
have
player.
that. No, you wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't use it without shield trigger. It would have to cost
Yeah.
4 for it. Yeah.
But I mean, as Fire, like, I'm hungry for more good shield triggers that, do a thing and do another thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
our
More
shield triggers were kind of just not that great. I mean, except like Comet Missile, but
burst shot.
you
Come
didn't
on,
really
man.
have it. Yeah, Burst Shot. Sorry, Burst Shot. Yeah, sure.
Come on, man.
Uh, the one thing that came up a lot when I was looking up these old decks is, well, through DM Bolt and old blogs and or even Duel videos. Um, Unfortunately, even though I could find decks of that era, those websites didn't always have, like, they weren't used as much back then as well. So like it was kind of limited. So sometimes the decks were right after DM13 and had DM14 stuff where they got like a much better shield trigger. There's House Scrapper, which is kind of like a souped up Tornado Flame. It's 7 cost for 5k, but it's any number of creatures. So like you can kill off a Gaunter and a Braidclaw or whatever, and it's like that changes the whole game. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we didn't get that, and like even after we finish these spoilers, it technically won't be here because it was DM14. But Stronghold is kind of the closest you can get before it is a good fire trigger, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than Burst Shot, sure.
Little hidden gem that got overshadowed almost immediately, but I'll take it while we got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which could be
Moving on
forever.
to it could be
Yeah,
for
like it got replaced immediately after DM13.
Actually, it's just been forever. This set's still not legal.
This card
So,
is sick.
yeah, I like tick tick.
Legal in our hearts.
Moving on. The boy.
Really? No love for not moving on from Tick Tick.
No,
Tick Tick
moving
is
on.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, tick tick.
Phew.
Speed attacker. Whenever this creature attacks, you may draw a card. This is cute, right? Like this card is
Yeah.
is I don't and again I don't know if it sees its way slotted into fire water decks, but
Oh yeah,
I mean,
right.
that's
This is already. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think it's just strictly better than the lucky ball slot, the lucky ball we have, right? Like I don't
yeah.
draw two, I'll just
Like
attack. Like
power
it's a
is
rush deck.
very, very low. Like if your opponent has any blockers, you're crying.
That's the name of the game with Firewater. That's why we run the bounce.
That's
I'm
true.
swinging at shields. I
Yeah,
am swinging and I'm swinging fast.
Like its
And
Kaijudo version was great as well, but
I
yeah,
don't even remember
absolutely.
it.
On an open field, this card's way better than Lucky Ball.
now
You know, but
other than being like a lucky ball replacement, do you see its races though?
Yeah, it does. It does. I was gonna say, like, I know that it affects the sympathy of the card we discussed earlier, and that's like the least of the reasons why I care about it. I just want to play it on the
No,
deck.
that's fair.
but that does that
It's
count
just
twice?
if you use that. No, it doesn't count twice. It only counts as a
Boo.
creature. Yeah, that's unfortunate. If it did
Ah,
two, yeah, I know.
dang.
To your point, though, with the
Common ask
sympathy, like,
ruling.
it's a weird card to give sympathy because, as you mentioned, its power is so low. Like, even playing this at Firewater Rush, like, I wanna attack with it. That's why I played the 4-for-1, and I'm very aware that as
Yeah,
soon as I
true.
attack with it, it's
does
gonna
then get
die.
killed. Yeah,
Yeah, my opponent's cracking back because they don't want me to draw again. They don't want me to break another shield. But it's for the
yeah.
same reason as the light fire card we talked about. Like,
You
Firewater
really
Rush is
cry
now
if
a
you get
deck
into a
that can
surfer or
play.
something.
Oh, sure, but that's my whole deck cries. Carl knows that.
That's
But
true.
like now
I mean,
Firewater
any
Rush can
rush, yeah.
play
That's any
12
rush
speed
deck.
attackers. Yeah,
Right.
12 speed attackers is good, especially when they're cycling.
So welcome to the card with the longest text in the game for a name.
Do we? Oh, yep. I've thought about renaming it, but
Yeah.
for
Judgment of the Flame Spear and the Water's Blade. That sounds like an Avatar, like the Last Airbender book. But yeah, so this is considered the best card in the set, I think.
I would say so.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, destroy all creatures that have 3,000 or less, and then you draw a card for each of those destroyed creatures.
it
That's
was
just super
pretty
cool.
good for a long, long time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just really really cool. Leans into colors that decks to play.
I mean, it may not be a. I mean, it's Searing Wave or Burst Shot, however you want to put it. It might not have trigger, sure, but things die. Even if you kill your own, you don't care.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Like
I mean, I think the art. If you look at the art, it even tells you kill Bronze Arm,
it's
get
true.
value.
poor guy.
And Bronze Arm is dying, and that other guy with the weird face on the right. But Bronze Arm is dying. I don't know how the Bronze Arm's still alive. The others seem dead,
Yeah,
He's
it's about to
dealing with the
happen.
water.
but I don't think he's gonna live
So,
much longer. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
it's
curious, like, what color
But yeah,
decks
you
would
can
play
even
this, and what the removal split would look like between this and I guess maybe it would just replace Blizzard of Spears, but like maybe you want Searing Wave for something cheaper. Maybe you want the Burst Shot trigger. You probably still want to have room for Apox, so it's like
yeah.
I
This
wonder
seems
how it
it's
splits.
especially with like where we are now with like IDC metas stuff like that. Like this card is very dependent on how many foul decks, or not foul, but I mean even still foul, but like Petrova decks are running around, right? Like because I think this card's just strictly better than Blizzard of Spears if you're not
well,
dealing with a
Trevor
meta with
basically said it
Petrova.
from anything that isn't Vice. You know.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I again this card's really, really good. Slot of at least one or two of in the majority of the decks that are in these
It
colors.
was heavily used, but the main of obviously its main usage was of course Bombazar, but we're not going to really have that in the English thing now. So
Mm, yeah. Even
That's
in
kind of
yeah.
interesting.
changed off to twin cannons and stuff though, you could still sort of get the same sort of deck. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. This card gets under Ganta and still draws you a bunch of cards if you're in the rush matchup. Yeah, that's fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How fun.
neat.
What a
I
cool
mean, it
card.
leads right into the 7 drops as well, because you're just going to draw off a bunch.
I don't know what's wrong with me because I'm weirdly more excited about the 2 speed attackers we've seen so far, and that's not who I am as a person. But I mean, this is still a really good card.
I
Yeah.
mean, you could even make this cheaper with like Essence Elf and then draw from the dead Essence Elf.
It's true. It's
Who
true.
cares? You drawing up, yeah, it's dead. You don't need it anymore. Who cares?
It's fun. This card's fun. This is the one Ben sent me when I did all that
It's
stuff
quite
that
a
he sent
notable
me.
one.
Yeah, Queen Maiden, the Eternal, making spirit quartz. Trying to make spirit quartz. Very viable. It's an evolution of those spirit quartz. When you put this creature into the battle zone, choose a card name, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has that chosen name, put it into your hand. If it doesn't, put it into the mana zone. So this card, and it's a double breaker, but 3 for 6,000. The
I choose
unfortunate
Scissor
thing.
Eye.
Say that again.
I choose Scissor Eye. Or Zagan or something.
Right. You're
Yeah.
you're auto ramping almost all, like if
Yeah.
you
It
can
does
call a
obviously
card.
have to be a legal card name, but it doesn't have to be in your deck.
Right. So, that's fun. I think the thing this deck or card itself doesn't have going for it is the fact that every spirit quartz, at least to this point, is a dual civ. So
Yeah,
you're
they're always multicolored.
yeah,
And
you're
they're all at
managing
least 3,
your
right? Like there's nothing
yeah,
2
they're all
cost.
they're all 3 plus. Oh, there is a 2 cost one in this
Except
set. We'll
for
get
the
to
one
it.
in this
Yeah.
set,
Yeah, we'll get to it.
which
It's a
is what
5.
makes it viable. If it wasn't for the 2-drop in this set, this card wouldn't really be worth talking about.
I mean,
Right.
you could attempt, right? Like if you're just on curve living the dream, you play this on 3, you're already in a great spot.
It can
So
happen.
maybe
Yeah.
if you're a tempo deck, you do call the unicorn fish in your deck, and it's like, I'll ramp 90% of the time, and if I just draw unicorn fish, I'm not mad about it because then I'll get an extra card. Sometimes maybe.
Right. And I think
Yeah,
that's the
most of the
point.
spirit quartzes were a bit costly.
Yeah.
But even in English there was tag tap. There was a fire nature one.
I like
It was a
tag tap.
3-drop who was okay. Yeah. There was Ulix as well, a dark fire one, but it's just kind of horrible. It can't be tapped. Nah,
Yeah.
doesn't fit the colors.
3 for 3, 335. Yeah.
But just tag tap and Jasper make it viable. Honestly,
Pretty cool.
just enough. Yeah. Obviously the mixed match of the 2-color civs, it can make those first turns awkward. Like there's some luck involved there, sure, because you got to do water fire. You got water nature with this, and then you got fire nature with tag tap. That's a little awkward. It's probably all the multi you're going to have in your deck.
Yeah, because at
Like
that
you're
point,
definitely not running Gaunter and stuff as well,
even though
unless
you
you
want
really want
to.
to risk. Yeah, you really want to.
Yeah, this
And
is
I've seen it
this is
done.
a
I've
fun
seen some
card.
Japanese lists that do still do it
I
because
think
gotta go
in
Gaunter.
the if we end up trying to create content with set in the future, I think the decks we're gonna look to. I like
Yeah.
Queen Maiden, and I think it just like this set alone is what makes the Spirit Quartz really fun to use, and I think it's one of the unique
And
decks
just
that
to
come out of
shout
this
him
set
out
alone.
again, shout him out again. This has been showing up in some Gauntlet videos as well.
Yep.
Seems good.
Yep.
It works. Yeah.
So, moving on, we get Paradise of Sacred Birds and Crystal. Your multicolored creatures can't be blocked this turn. That's
I
fun.
remember this
Nice.
card being terrible in Kaijudo, and it is now also terrible in Duel Masters.
Yeah.
A shame.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
not great.
Like the sort of thing you would want to use it in, like the Queen Maiden. It has too much multi.
Yeah.
It's just too much of a mess to also run. Yeah.
Beautiful art, though. I'll give it
Like
that.
Yep.
it looks pretty. It's got a great. I mean, like the effect would be great, but the fact that it's limited multi is what hurts it. If it was any, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even if it
Yeah.
just cost a little bit more, it'd be fine if it was any creature.
Yeah. Maybe.
Birds
Right,
and
yeah.
crystals are safe.
Hard, maybe. Moving on to Gashi Gashi, the Brave Puppet. So more Death Puppet support. When this creature loses a battle, instead of putting it in your graveyard, put this creature and the other creature into their owner's mana zones. So
Oh
it's taking
no.
stuff with it.
It bummed
That
me
was
out so
skipped.
much that
Probably.
Sorry about that. It bummed me out so much that I
Probably
hit my
fair.
keyboard. Yeah.
No, I mean it's
Yeah.
Slayer, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does get rid of a
Like
thing.
that it ramps them. Like I mean, sure, it kind of ramps you too, but
I'll
no,
play it
it's
in
mana
booster
Slayer and it just
drafts.
doesn't.
Booster draft, yes, so I can just selectively choose when to trade because you need that kind of thing.
I
to
wish
start
this
that.
was the better version of was it Goop Striker?
It is something that you would do in a draft, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Goop Striker was
the
great.
card that's the same. I'm saying that's what I want that card to be. It's the same stat line player and died. So oh well.
Is Carl
We got
cutting
close.
out for you, Michael,
Just a
at
little
all?
bit more power or something.
Am I there?
What was that?
Can you hear
No,
me?
you're here. You're just cutting out every some words, but Michael's
I'm
fine for
sorry.
me. I don't know.
It's probably me.
Uh, Let's get to
I'll
the spell.
let you. Yeah.
Even if it just met the vanilla 3000, yeah.
Yeah.
Flesh to Spirit conversion. So we got another multi-shield trigger. Whenever your other cards would be put into the
It's doing
graveyard
what
this
for you?
turn, put them into your mana zone instead, and they go in tapped. So,
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
not really going to matter anyway. By the
I
time
was,
they're dead, you're going to be attacked or something. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, I'm sure there's probably some cute interactions with this card, kind of like Christian's reversal miraculous meltdown strategy, but like, I
Not
just,
re-
I don't know
yeah.
that this card does anything relevant ever, really.
No,
Water Dark
the only
Nature
real
Transmogrify.
yeah, I mean that technically is a destroy, I guess. They would be put in the grave. Yeah. You could have a bunch of slayers, ram them into things, and instead also ramp.
He's
But
memeing, Yami. He's memeing.
No, I'm
no,
not. I'm
so
not
am I.
wrong though. Like 8 mana, you play this in Transmogrify. You mill like 10 things, find King Tsunami, then you have like 15 mana.
Yay.
So you can play the cards you don't have in your hand. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
This is,
I'm only, to be fair, I was only thinking of it as like your stuff actually dying. But yeah, other things are dumping cards into the graveyard. I guess yeah, they do actually count. Transmog isn't the worst case scenario
it's
for
not.
it, but
It's not the
Yeah,
worst, but
I
it's
think
not
that's
good.
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely
it's a
not.
very weird Winmore. It's kind of hard. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
there's nothing really to
I'm
jump for
very
it.
interested to see like all of our thoughts. Anybody who's invested any actually
It's a
watching
fun
this video.
idea. Like at least it symbolizes the whole life and death thing from those civilizations,
Yeah,
but it needed to do slightly more.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
For
just interested to
Maybe if
see
you
what
gave
five,
other
your
people have to
creatures
say.
Slayer or something. Yeah.
for 5, I expect at least I want to see 2 cards ramping to be on like Ultimate Force Mana Storm level. And as a shield trigger, I just don't think it's gonna be ramping me at all, almost any of the
Yeah,
time,
there's
because
better
my opponent
things
would
you
have
can do,
traded
even if you
first.
did want. Yeah, if you, like you said, you could go Ultimate Force, or if you were doing Darkness stuff, you could go Enchanted Soil and get a double ramp for 4 mana. It might not have Shield Trigger, but at least you know you're actually going to have it. Or just use Corpse Charger. That's what you want to do.
Just
Like,
use
there's
Corpse
better
Charger.
things for the
Just play
same
Bronze
colors.
Arm. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got better mana ramp. You've even got better Darkness ramp with Chargers. Yeah.
All right, guys, we are in the race to get through the
Oh no,
common.
Melcap again.
Oh no. Wait, let me make sure
I
I'm in the
know
right
it's
spot.
the thing. It's just funny.
That was the right one. So it's the
Funny
light
when
one,
it,
right?
The light
funny
one,
when a
correct.
spoiler reoccurs.
Rubles the Explorer. Your opponent reveals his shields broken by your creatures.
Terrible.
Yep, real
Yep.
bad.
Stat line is
Late by
awful.
that point. It's not
Yep.
Megalo. It's
Yep. There's other
backwards
better
Megalo.
gladiator support. It's 3 for 25. It's just bad. Yeah,
Yep.
moving on.
Like it's information, but it needed to
Information
cost
I don't
2.
necessarily care about, right? Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
play it
it's
at
too
3 for
late by
4.
that point.
Anything less than 3 for 4, and I'm not touching it.
Yep.
Yep.
Christ Dober, Barrier Guardian. So a 2-drop Guardian. I like that. Starting off strong here. Blocker, and whenever this creature blocks, opponent has an evolution creature in the battle zone. This creature gets plus 4,000 power. And it can attack players. I mean, it's another 2 for 2 Guardian. I think they're better 2-drop Guardians, cheaper Guardians. I think Lara Giga just
There is one
already
for 3K,
occupies the
right?
space. Yes. Yeah. So,
Okay. I
um,
was just like, I know there's series and stuff,
no,
but what's the
no,
Guardian do?
there isn't one. It's the 2 for 35
Oh,
block.
okay.
Yeah.
No, well,
So
that's Battle. Oh, I'm
you get Soul Gala, which is the 2 for 1, but
That's
yeah.
true.
Soul
Yeah, I
Gala's
mean, you'd
better.
rather use that.
Yeah. So, yeah, Christ Dober's cute. I guess if you need more 2-drop Guardians, neat. Otherwise, yeah, moving on.
Riel, the Oracle. Whenever this creature is attacked, you may choose one of your opponent's creatures in the battle zone and tap it. This is like fringe playable in your Oracle Rush deck, but besides that, it's just not like 2 for 2, and maybe we're talking about something. Maybe.
But that's
At
the
least
thing is like
cheaper than the
that's
previous
it's
Lightbringer, but
no
That's true.
this card seems bad, right? It's just
Yeah.
it's whenever this creature's already be and I'm just tapping another creature forward. I just don't think that that matters necessarily. Like I'd rather have a card that taps cards on my turn, but
Yeah, no, it's
either
not
way,
good.
it's not good.
It's a shame.
This is maybe one of my favorite. Holby Gooby, blocker that lets you basically fix Preaching
see,
to the
now I
battle
have
zone.
power cutting in and out a little bit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
okay. So it isn't me. I just wanted to be sure. You're fine, you're fine. Just
He wasn't earlier, but he was then. Yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Could be my internet going out here
Oh
as we
Christ.
reach the end of the day. Who knows? But when
All
you
right,
put
so
this
wait, wait.
creature into the battle zone, yeah, you go.
I mean, they can read it, but I want to just state how I feel about it because I believe me and you had very different opinions, and I wonder who was closer to correct. I think this card is cute. I'll give it that. It is gross looking, but it's cute.
Absolutely.
I think it replaces Aqua Strummer, or is an addition to Aqua Strummer in Transmog deck. You can play like, up to 8 copies, and that's great for those decks. I don't think besides that any deck wants to play it. Am I wrong?
So my
No,
thought.
that's the general consensus. Yeah.
Oh dang! So I thought this card was like gonna be kind of
But
cute as like a one or two of in
I have seen it used.
control
No, I
decks.
have seen it used in a couple others. Like I was saying earlier, those Light Order Darkness decks. Some of them did have a copy or two. It was
Okay, I
mainly
understand that
used in Transmogrify,
yeah,
so
I could.
that's true as well.
So
You're
here's the
both
thing,
right.
like better it's worse than like Hulkus Energy Stream, except if you are literally searching for a game-winning turn 4 play, which the Lightwater
Yeah, it's
Darkness
a
actually
deck.
had
Yeah,
in
you
Aquan.
don't use it as a draw source. I mean, because like it doesn't draw.
Yeah.
Well, so I wasn't talking about it as a draw source. I was just talking about it as like deck fixing depending on the matchup.
No, no, no. I mean,
Right,
it's like Courtney earlier. It just makes things easier for you gameplay,
right, right. And
even
I
if it
think
doesn't
in
have like a direct effect of doing
right,
something.
and then like the Russian tempo decks, like I think Rub, like the Fire or Water Dark Fire control decks. I think like this card is like maybe a two of,
See, that's
just
the
to help
thing,
kind of
like I just
get
like I
Not the
don't
worst
even
body
in
being
Water Dark
3000.
Fire, I don't even have room for all the streams I want to play. And like I
yeah.
would rather just do that. Like the thing is, that's the kind of a card that does look like a trap because it's like stats are fine, blockers, just good to have on a card. And the effect is
It's not
like,
really
yeah,
a 4 of when you
everyone,
would splash.
yeah, everyone wants that effect. Like it's not a bad effect. It's just like the card quality, even though it does several decent things, is so low on average that it's like just hard to justify playing over anything else. But if you're like
Yeah, you want
running
it to actually have
Aquan,
an impact.
yeah, but if you can like get 5 cards deeper in your deck and find Aquan almost 100% of the time when you play it, and you just draw 5 on turn 4, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm playing Aquan.
Yeah, yeah,
Then it's better than
very
stream.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it does.
yeah,
Unfortunately, you want to use it alongside Strummer with the Transmogrify, but it then also turns into a creature that could be hit when you
Yeah,
want to run like more spells. So it's got that downside,
but
but it's still worth it.
it's better than Strummer, right? So you can just choose the right number of that
I mean,
effect to
just
play.
having the
Like
defense helps.
yeah,
Yeah,
so like maybe you'd
I mean they're both
play
5.
6.
It's just yeah.
Maybe in this transmog,
I think you
people
do
would
the
do the
4 of
math, right?
both. Like you still want no. I think you still want to max out the copies, but you would use this before Strummer. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't played the deck
There's
yet.
also Jellyfish for the earlier Sympathy.
Yeah, no, that's the deck for it.
Yeah.
Jellyfish.
I actually saw a funny deck that did kind of go with a couple Jellyfish that I mentioned earlier and this, as well as like Betrover, and then you just had a big wall of them. And then there was also one that came out of DM14, sadly, but
God,
it did similar stuff.
I want to call Jellyfish with Petrova so bad.
we should have saved this
Oh,
card for the
one
very
thing I
last
haven't
card.
brought
So,
up, and it's not really relevant to DM13, but in the OCG much later on, like we're talking like 2017 here, there was and it is quite relevant for a lot of cards in this set, especially the Sympathy, because there was a change with how when races are selected, if a race has another race as part of its name, it gets included. And the easiest example is giant and giant insect. So if you did say pick giant with Petrover, all your giant insects also got like extra power.
oh wow.
But
What
of course, the main
if you
reason that
pick
helped.
giant insects? Did the giants get extra power then too?
No, no,
What? Wait a minute.
because giant doesn't have giant insect
Oh, okay,
in
okay,
its
okay, okay.
name, but giants there. Yeah. But
Uh,
the main thing that this helped a lot though is of course like evolution. Like if you had to evolve, if you had something that evolved on a giant, you could just evolve on a giant insect. Or,
so
like I
weird.
said, sympathy. If you've got a card that's cheaper for giants, if you had
Mm,
a bunch of giant insects, which of course you got like Sniper Mosquito and stuff, which I'll bring up later, you could use them for the sympathy, and it makes these cards way better. But as I said, that rule didn't happen until way later. So whether
interesting.
people now would actually want to play with it, I know Gauntlet actually are. They have a deck later on that uses. I don't want to spoil the card for yet, but there is a sympathy with giants. And they use it in a deck with giant insects. They said they want to use this rule, so they're going with it. But other English players that want to use DM13 might not want to go with the most recent rulings. Totally optional, but I wanted to bring it up, and the main reason it came to mind as well is because this card's a jellyfish. You could pick fish, and that affects both as well.
Yeah, shout outs to Unicorn Fish. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hunterfish, I think.
So that takes us to this card, which we should have saved for last. Bye bye Amoeba.
Yeah. I don't like
Oh.
the cycle. The whole cycle of them, they just don't work.
When they get
Yeah,
attacked,
yeah.
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 Whenever this creature is attacked, yeah, return the attacking creature to the
Silly
other side
one,
after
but
that. Yeah, it's cute. I think it costs too
yeah.
much. It's a 3-for-1. It's
I like the art. It's
yeah,
very colorful.
yeah, it is. You like seeing this card in your pack just because it adds some flavor. And
Spreading like kindness.
and
They
then
just
the
really
last,
love the 3 for 1,000 cyber viruses over in the design
they
team,
really
right?
do. Yeah, just any chance to make a
I'd much
water
rather
card
take the
play on me.
unblockable, thanks.
Yeah, give me candy drop.
Exactly.
Ugh.
No, gotta get rid of this card. Too broken.
Yep, too broken.
Yeah,
We talked about this pre-stream. Too broken. Get rid of it.
yeah.
Jeez.
Magical Pot, man. Kaijudo really did a number on this card.
What were they smoking?
Return an evolution creature in the battle zone, or no, choose an evolution creature, return it to its owner's hand. It's just real bad Spiral Gate. Yeah, this card's not playable, fortunately, compared to its
No,
older
I mean,
brother
it's
from way
full of
later.
spiral
Yeah,
gates no matter what. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, no, this card
Although
stinks.
you said it bounces a creature, I could have sworn when I read it, it said shuffle your deck, then reveal the top. No,
That
we're
had
not
shield
doing that
trigger
gag
too.
still.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it did have shield
Oh
But-
wait,
blast.
no, it does shield blast. Yeah, I messed it up. No.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah,
it
we
this
got
time.
They
him.
got me on a technicality.
I still can't say shield.
Shield blasted, son.
Fast attacker is the one that I just can't
I
seem
don't
to
know
get right on this
why.
channel.
Attack. Yep.
Yeah, can't do
Kaijudo's
it.
gone, man. Duel Masters is forever.
I had to purge all that.
Yeah, I wish I could. We're into darkness cards now.
I'm
Fallen
on
Monk,
my
the
third Duel
Bloodstained
Masters
Soil.
wiki now. You can't mix up the cards. It gets in your head.
I
You're
know. It's the worst.
Right.
Oh man, there's a 4-drop darkness
You wanted
card
another
that,
long name that I've always wanted to rename a bit too.
yeah,
Although it
Zabuka.
translates very weird.
Zabaku. This creature has plus 2,000 power for each of your opponent's tap creatures in the
Technically a
battle
H,
zone.
but yes.
Yeah, that's
Haku,
cool.
but yeah.
It can swing over anything with less than 4,000 or less power. That's kind of fun.
It's
You
kind of cool.
really only use it for the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fact that it's a 4-cost demon command, I get it.
It does
Alright.
do minor like there was that earlier bad everything taps thing when it attacks. There is sort of like another control deck that'll come up, and so I'll bring this up again later, where this can do some fun things. Like you can, I think the only thing you really use is you got to have a lot of heavy light. You got to, I mean, obviously like all, but you want something like Ecto Totem. Like the decks that I used this in was like a light darkness nature thing, where yeah, you did just tap down things and kill them whatever they had.
It's kind of cute.
I mean, as this kept getting bigger, yeah. But you mainly used it for Ballon Bait.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think we get one of the more fun 2-drops of this set and just in general. Niyari, Exploding Doll, so Death Puppet support, love to see it. And this is the epitome the 2-drop Slayer that got to see a lot of play in mid-range decks towards the end. But this card's effect, whenever this creature is attacked, it gets Slayer until the end of the turn. So it's just
Which at least
Yeah.
is fine. It's the one thing in the cycle that's good.
Yeah.
yeah, super
I'm
good.
forgetting what the nature one is, but if there is one, yeah, this is a good
Yeah.
one.
Unlike the
Yeah.
water one, they didn't make it cost 3, so happy with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we
Yeah,
have 3 cost layers, but yeah, obviously this
Yeah.
one being 2 is the huge difference.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it sees play in a ton of Water Dark decks, especially just in DM 1 through 13. I
Is it
think
good
this
in
card finds its way into
Fire
those
Dark
decks.
Rush? Maybe good in Fire Dark
Yeah,
Rush?
yeah, I think it sees its way into those rush decks. That deck is really more viable. But yeah, Nyari, cool card. Like
Yeah.
it.
Fish didn't have a evolution, did it? No, in this puppet. No.
Not
Sadly,
Death
the
Puppet.
best
No.
ever. There was a Death Puppet evolution, DM14. Oh
Mm,
well, but that was setting it up.
So
so
close.
close.
Yeah,
So and
one of
then
the
we
other
get the
best Death Puppets ever were in DM14 as well. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that set some other time.
Yeah.
so when we come back again a decade from now.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Nightmare Machine, 5 call shield trigger, destroy one of your untapped. Chooses his. I don't like this card at all.
This one is
Like you
rough.
think, yeah, you think you can do something fun with it. Like you think, oh, okay, I'll kill my propeller mutant, or I'll kill off my stuff that I don't care about anymore, like my bronze arm or something. But the effect you get is just proclamation of death. It's
Yeah,
proclamation of death. You
it's
don't kill off
worse
your own
than
thing.
Proclamation because they have to choose one
Yeah,
of their untapped.
But
It's
like I
just
said, like you do it when you want to kill your own thing for a death trigger
yeah,
for propeller mutant. But otherwise,
but
it's a worse
goodness,
proclamation of death.
couldn't they have
that's what I'm
let it
saying.
be you choose like for this?
Yeah, yeah, it's
I think it
unfortunate.
would still be bad.
Yeah, that's still kind of bad.
If at least didn't have the untapped thing for theirs or something, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's they really
use proclamation of death. It's worse than that.
they watered it down more than it needed to be watered down, I think. And now it's just really awful
Like I know
removal.
why they weren't going for another Terror Pit or like
Yeah,
trying to make Death Smoke, where Death Smoke was fine, but yeah,
they went too
All
took
right,
far.
them many years to make a better trigger.
we move into fire now, and 2 drop. Lagrin, the gold, sorry, the gold. Good lord, the lone wolf. I'm losing track of name cards. Everybody should start calling these out before I do. This creature can't attack if there's another untapped creature in the battle zone. I think this card's like 50-50. It's very fringe on being
Well, I mean,
because
the
you're only playing with
problem,
Because if they've got a blocker, it can't attack.
yeah, like it beats up Belix, but just kidding, it never does that.
Oh my god, it says in the battle zone. I thought it was
Yeah.
just you creatures.
No,
No,
yeah,
that
it's
would
not.
be a
Whoa.
legitimately good card, right? Like that's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
solid.
you wouldn't care by itself. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Mm.
can always attack. Yeah, it
Carl.
cares about your opponent's thing,
Yep.
and that's what hurts it the most.
Oh, yeah, I don't like this card at all. We can move
This
on.
one's rough.
It's a Dragonoid for
It
Akashic
is.
second earlier, but
It's
yeah,
like
They keep
Dragonoid Evo
it's
bait,
one of
but
the ones I
sticky
wanted
bit.
to bring up for it at least. Like, if you were using that other card
hmm
after
Yeah.
Braid Claw and your 1-drop, you want the 2-drop Dragonoid. So you want this, you want Bullraiser, and I think there's another one later in the set, or probably maybe even the next card. But yeah,
I can see that just for
it's
the curve,
rough.
but like as a card itself, boy, I hope I evolve it or something. Oh wait,
Yeah, you're thinking of
the
the card we
dwarf.
just reviewed, Lagrin, Yami. But yeah, no, it's yeah, while all the
No, I
cards in your
thought there
mana
was
zone are
another
tapped.
Dragonoid after
There
Lungren though.
is, and we're
Yeah, sorry, there
here.
is. Yeah,
And this
Zach
one is
Rambo.
way, way better.
I was
Right?
right. There is 2 Dragonoids.
God, it's still not even that
Oh,
much better, but at least it can attack.
oh, I thought we were already talking about Zach Rambo. Sorry. Yep, no, here we are.
Yeah,
Zach
there you
Rambo,
go.
the
Good.
sword attacker. Yep. So yeah, while all the
Use
cards in your
both.
mana zone are tapped, it gets plus 2,000 power. So that's usually going to happen in a rush deck at least
Yeah.
3. Yeah, 1 through 4. So yeah, kind of cute.
Yeah,
You
2 for
would
3.
use both in the Akashic first, or you would even just use this in like a Fire Nature thing or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
This is
absolutely.
decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also go full meme, and just because they're cheap Dragonoids, you could use God, what's the card? Furious Onslaught.
Oh
Make
my
them all
god.
bigger, turn them into
Yeah.
dragons.
Just make them all plus 4,000 dragons. Yeah.
That's fun.
Evolve them into Bejewelor or something. I don't know.
Oh,
That's
good
really
lord.
funny. I
Wouldn't
still like
that just be
Bullraiser
more
more, but
expensive at that point? Yeah. That's
oh
like
yeah.
11 mana to evolve your 2-drop modula. Lord. Um, yeah, no. So it's kind of cute, right? That all the fire cards in the set are 2-drops. We move on to Joe's toolkit. We finally get Explosive Dude Joe's Xenopart. Yeah, whenever this creature is attacked, you may destroy one of your opponent's creatures that have power 2,000 or less. Um, it's
Bad,
not. Yeah,
but
it's bad, but
you
it's
don't want
neat.
its inner parts. That's the unfortunate thing.
I
Right.
do because I'm playing Neminex.
Oh
That's its
yeah,
only use. I'm not saying
yeah,
it doesn't have the fringe use of that, but you generally don't want Xenobots.
Generally
yeah,
true.
yeah.
You are right.
So, all right.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the main factor of a lot of these cards. You could find a very, very fringe use for a lot of them, but some of them are worth doing, and some of them are not.
Yeah, just for
That's
the
the.
sake of the
I
fact
mean, like
that it's
I
neat.
guess that's
Yeah,
true for a lot of cards, but it fails a lot more for this set in particular for whatever reason.
yeah.
Where it's
So
like they try to branch off with different races and stuff, and I support them doing that, but a lot of them just weren't good enough to actually want to use that race.
yeah. Oh, nature. Here we go. Toxic wasp. Welcome to giant insect support. It is a
Oh
Perfect for
man,
League of Legend players. I don't know. No.
Yeah, no, plus 3,000 power. I mean, it's just another one of those vanilla
it's
base set
yeah,
cards. Yeah,
it's
it's cool.
between
Even with
Swordhorn,
the
not
giant
Swordhorn.
thing I was, yeah, even with the whole giant insects count as giant thing I was talking about, I still wouldn't use this for the later Sympathy card.
Yeah, you have
So,
so many
you know,
better options.
you've got better,
It's
yeah, sniper
so many.
mosquitoes all day, slumber scarabs, like, yeah,
Copper Locust. How's
trench scarab,
Copper,
yeah,
Batochi?
yeah.
yeah,
Copper
copper, yeah.
Locust, Patochi. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I
they're
love
just so
Copper
much better.
Locust. He was so underrated for a long time.
Don't worry, he's gonna be played in that Neminex deck.
Yay!
Yeah, very
All
excited
right.
for that to lose.
So I think this is another one of my more favorite cards from
Ah, yeah,
DM13.
this was the one. Okay.
Yeah,
I take that back
Pokepen.
on the whole cycle. I like this one of it.
This is
Yeah,
good.
counterattacking fairy. Yeah,
I,
this card's super
he's the
cute.
best.
It's
And Darkness.
anti-control fire nature rush cards.
Yeah, if you're playing Snow
Light and
Fairies, I mean,
Mortar
this is
gets
an
the
obvious
worst, but
one.
he gets the best one. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's also just fine as a 2-drop. Like I
Yeah.
said Diamondia earlier with Courtney, but you would also just use this.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like I don't even hate playing this in like a lot of mid-range and like tribal decks that are just running nature. Like
There
it's just
was an IDC event once that did use DM13.
Oh yeah, yeah. X Boom
And
played this as a 4 of in
basically,
Fire Nature.
yeah, it was in the winning deck. It was the only DM13 card they used in their regular Fire Nature Rush, and they just tech this in. And
X Boom, if you've
it's
made it this
fine. Like, you
far, if you're
probably didn't
watching,
need it.
let me know how it
Deck
was.
probably didn't. Yeah, the deck probably didn't need it. I'm very sure.
yeah,
I'm very sure I saw a comment on it. Like, I don't think the effect really even came up or made a difference. I think I remember them saying, but it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fine. Yeah, it's a
And it's
cool
a cheap
and
snow fairy. That's why you really
it's a
want it.
snow fairy exactly. So cool card. And then our last nature card
You want
of
it for the
DM13.
Sympathy. You want it for the Diamondia. Yeah.
Pixie Cocoon. It's basically just like a more fun fairy life, right? Return a creature from your mana
Kind
zone to
of.
your hand, then after you cast a spell, put a card or put it into your mana zone tapped. After you cast the spell, you put Pixie Cocoon into your mana zone tapped
Yeah.
instead of the graveyard. So it's neat.
You
I could
return
see this.
something, but then it goes in mana itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see this card being like a fun toolbox card. How controls, Forbos, cards that just maybe want extra versions of. Um, I could see this being like a cute little multifunction card like that.
I mean,
But
I tell you this,
yeah,
in two ways, it power creeps Roar of the Earth, which is just the same 2-cost shield trigger, return a
oh
6
yeah,
cost or more creature to your mana from
yeah,
your mana to your hand. So this chooses any creature, and it also replaces the mana for you next turn, which is much, much, much better.
yeah, absolutely. So fun little
And it's
card.
easier than using Thrash Crawler, and you don't have to splash water. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
and
could
then
see
we
this being good in
finally
certain
get
decks.
for the first time in DM multicolored common cards.
And it's a
We
worm,
start.
Carl.
Done.
It's a worm, yeah,
Oh yeah, I guess
parasite worm.
sometimes stuff are uncommon, right? Yeah.
Make Ultraside Worm relevant again, and Rainbow Phantom on top of that leans
This card
in,
is cute.
drove all of its races. Yeah,
This card is kind of
so
cute. I wish it was 3 for 1 instead of 4 for 25, but
I was
you know.
actually reading about the artist's impression because basically when like they get like a short description of what they're told to draw, and Naoka was basically just sent a description that was like draw a worm wearing a rainbow cloak, and he was just kind of like confused by the request. It was like, "Are you and is that what you want me to draw?" And the response was just kind of like, "Yes," and that's what he drew. I'm like,
It's
I
really
don't know what
funny.
this. Yeah,
It looks like if a worm
like this
monster was
in
taking
cube
over
world as
Mario
well.
64 and Rainbow
Yeah,
Road,
I have no explanation on
Rainbow
that.
Cruise.
Like, there's no flavor text. There's nothing that explains why he's just in missing texture world. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows where the
Why is he on
rainbow
platformer?
phantoms
Why is
live?
there? Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think the background story is just that, like, yeah, that multicolored power kind of just spread out everywhere
Yeah.
and races converged and just made unholy abominations. But that's a good.
So
This is a good example of that.
we did finally get a semi-playable or another semi-playable Gladiator Alloys. So if we're looking for more potential Gladiator stuff to just pack into, this card just power creeps
Oh, we split.
Canistel quite a
We
bit.
split power. Okay.
Yeah, Keen the Mobile Sage.
wow, this is good.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I mean, it can't attack players. Who cares, right? 6,500 swinger.
Your stuff off, yeah. You just
Yeah,
gotta find a good
just
tap
deals with
engine.
stuff. But I
Hmm.
mean, it's the perfect mana cost for I think what it's trying to. And when you're in
This
these
is
colors, I can see you wanting to play it, especially in your Phantom Act.
Or it's an Armaloid for like
ye-
Grash and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, even just being Elzonius bait is fine. Or I was talking earlier with Aegis and stuff, you could go, yeah, you could turn 3 this, turn 4 Aegis, like you just set yourself up sort of a defensive sort of block and lead into Elzonius and things. Yeah.
I dig it.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah, especially in limited, just a super good on curve. My goodness.
absolutely. And now we get another really, really good
65,000
card
power
in this.
take, yeah, or 6,500 takes out a lot of things.
So this takes us to the very playable spirit that Yami Jasper Stubborn. This creature attacks each turn if able, so it's a 2-drop version of Braid Claw and water. But when this creature be destroyed, return it to your hand instead. And it's just really good spirit quartz support. So,
Yeah, so we got. I mean, I don't really want to be attacking with it at all. I just want to evolve it into that 3-drop Spirit Quartz
yeah,
evolution, that the name of which
But
I
even if you
forgot.
do attack with it, I mean, they're basically kind of forced to block with it, and even then, at least you kind of get out of block already away for other stuff,
Yeah, I can
and you
keep my
just keep
bait
getting it
around.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
then
you don't
on turn
care. It
5, just do the
dies
2 and the
when it's
bait.
so cheap. It might be hard to play when you need both those two civs so early,
Hmm.
but if you can get the couple mana out, it's not that bad. Um, but yeah, it just keeps coming out for so cheap. Even if you have to summon like both on the same turn, turn 5, you're okay with it.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Part of
Really
having
good
cheap
support
bait
card.
is just, cheap bait and cheap evolution means still in the mid game you can just drop it on the board for free with nothing else going on.
Yeah. I mean, you could do it without or even without the Queen Maiden. You could throw it into like Water Fire and it would still be a menace.
A menace. Is it
A
that
menace.
good? Is it that good?
Jasper the Menace.
Is it Kook Pollid good?
That's not Koopaling.
Okay. But it is cute.
This does find us on our we finally found second Akashnik or Akashic
Akashic.
Akashic
Yeah.
Akashic. Thank you. Second Electro Spirit, another
Akashic is
cyber.
actually a real word. You wouldn't think so, but it is.
Is it now?
Yeah, it talks. It's the like old like ancient records sort of thing. Yeah, like
This
it's
card
a
is
philosophy thing. I think. Yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah,
This card is like really solid, but also like it's hard for me to imagine a home for it just because it's like 5 and doesn't really impact the board when you play it. And I feel like as a strict value card, I'm just getting beat down by the mid-range decks at this point, and me playing a 3,000
yeah,
power thing is just not gonna
yeah.
do enough for me. But it is
That's
like
the
it's
thing.
super high
Yeah,
value though.
yeah. I want it to cost one less. I think that's where it'd be great if it was 2,000. But like, yeah, it's just it costs like one more mana. It's just enough for me to find other better options typically.
Value, but slow.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, for sure.
but it plays that role
Um,
well. I like a good
You
value
needed to
card.
draw 2 cards to be worth it. At
Oh
its
yeah,
cost, yeah.
that'd be amazing. And yeah, as you said, as a 4,
And even then,
that'd
it
be
might
great.
still be too slow, but at least you could see it played over like a Reno or streams or any. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and then we get to 55 of 55. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this card's really good, but Anima Train, the Daring Beast, it's a Hedrian and a Horn Beast, which is
I
good
keep
races. I'll
flip-flopping
take
my
it.
opinion on it.
But it's a Gonto with a downside, right?
but the
Can't attack if you
downside
have
is
more
that
shields than your opponent.
isn't that a humongous downside for a card that you'd want to be turning sideways?
More
And
or less,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
you
saying,
basically gotta
right?
be that's the first thing to attack.
Right.
And you can still it's like Bull Razor where if you have the same it can attack. So there's that. But once you have then attacked and you have more shields, it's not attacking on your next turn, so you've got no follow-up.
Yeah,
But
this
I
does
could see
not seem
this
good.
card.
Like you could do Darkness Fire Nature, so then you have 8 technical Gauntlets, but you're really just making a Fire Nature deck worse by doing that.
Yeah.
So like you're making the colors, more confusing for no real advantage.
Like I don't think playing like Fire Nature or Water Fire Nature Tempo you can count many times when after like turn 2 you have less shields than your opponent. So it's really
Yeah.
just gonna be a dead card.
I was thinking of ways like with a lot of the cards that have those big upside on cost value where you could turn this into a really kind of strong mid-rangey deck that plays the Baraka, the card that when you play them you pull a shield to your hand. And it's just and you play it like mid-range,
Yeah, sure.
maybe a curve
You could
starting
go.
on two, and you're leaning into it by like 4 or 5. You're dropping like Snake Attack and Baraka, just big 4 for 5,000 power double breakers, 4 for 6,000 breakers that
What
are
was
destroying your
the
shields and
spells
drawing
for that?
cards.
There was
The
Ghastly Drain or whatever, right? Yeah.
Oh
right,
yeah.
Ghastly Drain, yeah, cards like that. Yeah, it's kind of
There's
cool.
all your shields. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, kind of cool.
This card kind of worked a little later on because there was like a cheaper version of that. There was a 2-drop for 2,000 that returned a shield to your hand, and that was
Mm,
great
yeah,
because it was kind of a pseudo Hulkus.
yeah,
Um,
cards like
but
Bone
yeah,
Piercer
yeah,
and
when you
Jewel
there was
Spider
like
and stuff like that.
there was aggressive darkness nature stuff, but it didn't happen for a couple more sets.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Yeah, but I like it. But that is DM13 1 through 55, which means we only have the super set.
video over.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
but we need to get to the best parts.
yeah. So we are nearing it, and I know this, guys. Stick with it. We're almost there. So, Eternal Phoenix, Dragon Flame Phoenix. So this completes, and so like we were talking about story, is that this completes the Phoenix side of the lore, with the races for the dual civs. But yeah, we got the Vortex evolution. It goes on an armored dragon. Each of your phoenixes and dragons can attack untapped creatures. So the other two phoenix cards and all of your dragon race cards. And then when this creature leaves the battle zone, return all non-evolution creatures from the graveyard to your hand. And it's a double breaker. Guys, I gotta admit, I think this card's pretty bad.
Yeah,
Oh
Vortex
man.
evolution. It's hard to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I just again, you see it on paper and you're like, "Oh damn, this card has a lot of text. Be good." Not a single line of that text gets me excited.
Well, I'm excited by like the idea of the card. It's just, it's easy to under I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore, but it's like it seems like it'd be easier to get out than it actually is in practice. You're tricked by the thing that costs 5, but it actually costs so much more time than that, and then you have to have the stars aligning where your Firebird and your Armored Dragon have survived, and then you finally get a decent attacker that still isn't by itself going to win you the game.
And as Yami mentioned earlier, much to my chagrin, it's a phoenix. It's not a dragon. So
True,
Kokolupia is just not there to help.
true. But you still need it so you can play the dragon, and then
Right.
More or less, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's Armored Dragon, which means your only other real choice is I know I was thinking of it. Why was I thinking 4 cut? There isn't. Yeah, what's the other?
Uh,
the Volcano Dragon, it's the 4-drop, isn't it? Or isn't that
Yeah.
Malgars?
Yeah,
Or
Malgars is a volcano.
Melgar's is the four, and that's what I'm saying,
that's
man.
your
So
only
like,
option. Yeah,
it's just the whole thing is like
that's
it takes
Volcano, so it doesn't work.
by
Yeah.
like
Doesn't work.
turn 8. If everything went right and you're not dead yet, you can just play this card, and then it's not even that great when you play it.
So obviously the tempo play is turn 3 Coco, turn 4 Bolshak, and then this or something.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know what.
But then you ruin your Bolshak's effect because you're pulling all your fire cards out of your graveyard. Come on,
Yeah.
come
That's
on, come on.
Can't
Well, no,
disrespect
you just get
Bolshak like
spiral
that,
gated
yeah.
and lose the game immediately.
Oh my god, it's not. It doesn't even have triple breaker. I'm moving on. This card seems cool, right? It's the better light darkness angel command. Azezu,
Sure.
Azuzu.
Nope.
How do you say this?
I'm not sure.
Azesu?
It is up to your interpretation.
Yeah, it's you're gonna spit all over the screen is what you're gonna do. Demonic
Yeah, I'd say
elemental.
Ozezu. Ozezu.
Yeah.
Yeah, Azesu.
So this card gets sympathy for angel command and demon commands, and whenever one of your angel commands and demon commands attacks, destroy one of your opponent's tapped creatures.
Why does
Double
it
breaker.
have to say tapped? It's
That's what
already
I'm
so
saying, man.
slow, dude.
I know we were so close,
Yeah, like
and
it
then they
doesn't
just
get that much cheaper. Like even though it has
Doesn't.
sympathy, you're not really gonna make it cheap. Like you've got that demon
There's
command from earlier, the 4 cost.
that's
right.
yeah,
You've
that's like
got
the
other
only
5
one.
cost one now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
At
that's
best,
true.
this card's coming down on 5, and even then, it's not really ever.
Well, you would use them, but like I said, you would also be nature, so you'd also be like fairy life. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so turn 4 we get to play this, and then turn 5 we can finally attack with it, and we just have to hope our opponent has tapped things.
at
So
turn
we have
5,
to.
you then have to tap stuff somehow.
It's
Yeah.
like God, we're just living the dream just to kill one thing when we could just be playing Terrapit.
It's very win more. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it is
Moving on.
flavorful, and they could have just made it. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
art, and I'll give it to it. Eternal Phoenix is fantastic.
Is this the major owl art or flipped or no?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
Asylum Elemental Dragon Knight is the major owl art. It's an angel command and an armed dragon, and it has sympathy for those cards, which again just seems slightly irrelevant.
Yeah, they're too cheap, too expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, but it gets double breaker, and when this creature would be destroyed, add down, and it's 6 for 6,000 power, and just again, I it's hard for me to get excited.
Oh, they
Really
did
an
flip the art.
and
Major
to make
owl is
the
the
other
same
one
art, but
cheaper.
backwards.
Yeah, that happened a couple times.
Huh.
Sometimes they got different colorations too, like they used a promo version or whatever of the card. Yeah.
Interesting. I like this better than the last one, but it's marginally better. The
Yeah.
bar was pretty low.
Like, you don't want the main benefit of a card to be when it dies most of the time. Well, you don't want it to be when it dies on a 6-drop. You don't care for the lobies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm having trouble seeing where this card sees play, and I think the answer doesn't. So I'm gonna move on.
Booster drafts.
Yeah.
Obviously, you evolve over it to make Phoenix. I don't know. No.
Oh, it's
All right.
Boran.
So we're finally that's Boran. Dolgeza, the strong striker. I think we're finally at a place where sympathy might be relevant.
Yep. This is one of
but-
those cases.
But
Probably
when
the
you
main one.
yeah, when you put this creature in the battle zone, draw a card for each of your Earth Eaters, for each of your giants.
I
It
don't
has
hate
double
it.
breaker. Yeah, I don't hate it at all, especially if you can get this card down to like 5 or 6. It's really
Like
strong.
Ground Giant, we started with Watch earlier, is definitely used in the deck. Like you're going to be using Water Nature, and like I said, you generally go Light or Fire or something, and you've got your third Civ. But yeah,
I'm not sure how
there's not
many
many other cheap giants.
yeah, like how many giants
Earth-Eated?
Well, you could go like that giant into Earth Stomp Giant and then play this on 6, and it's a 6 for 9, draw 2 cards.
And then you draw the rest of your mana. Yeah.
True, I guess we don't really need to be. Oh, Carl, you and your logic.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely leaning into the cost giant from this set, and then like relevant Earth Eaters, like some of the blockers, maybe Thrash Crawler.
Yeah, Thrash
That's
is
the
fine.
that's
There's
it's
the
not
other
fine though,
4-drop
guys.
that's okay.
It's literally the antithesis of Sympathy. You're playing Thrash Crawler and setting yourself back a turn so you can reduce the cost of this
Right.
by a turn. It gets
But
to the
now-
same. place.
But not when you bronze
Yeah, but
arm
you've got
tribed
defense at that point. Yeah.
yeah, you bronze armed, you poisonous mushroomed, you
Damn
worked it
it,
out. This card's
people,
still coming.
we need to decide whether we're ramping or we're doing the opposite of that. Okay, we're just doing all the things. Is there a good Earth
Absolutely,
Eater
yeah.
that doesn't take my mana away? There was
There
that one,
was another
right?
4-drop blocker bounce one. I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
Frantic Crawler.
Yeah,
yeah,
Frantic
yeah. That
That's
Crawler.
what you
card's
would
There's
use with this.
that's
Yeah.
cute.
yeah, yeah. There's him, and then the big boy, the 5 for 6,000 power water blocker from Stompatrons, I think. Hazard Crawler, maybe.
I think there was another one in this set too, but it was like 90 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's a while ago. But
There
yeah,
was
there's
Zareem, but I don't think you liked Zareem, the attack on tapped one.
oh, he was awful. Yeah, that card
Oh,
was
you're right.
terrible.
You're right. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm scrolling and I can't find it. But that'll take us to the last card. Christian, tell us what it is. I think this is the only realm super.
Galamuta, Matchless Fear Lord, Dark Lord, Earth Dragon, 6 for 5, Sympathy, Death Puppet, and Beast Folk. Whenever it attacks, neither player can use shield trigger abilities that turn. Yeah, this is cute.
This card's cute because it can come down on turn 4, like relatively consistently.
Yes, that is
Like,
the problem with it though. God dang, man. Like, yeah,
Beast
ugh.
Folk is what saves it. The Death Puppet doesn't do much
No,
for it, but Beast
not
Folk
at
is
all.
what saves it.
I'm
But
not
you
into
do get
it.
that. You do get that 2-drop Slayer creature, which could be fun, or Death Puppet, which could be fun.
Oh
in
yeah, sure.
the more mid-rangey versions that play these colors. But I could see this card in like those Ice Vapor decks that you throwing back and forth CVH. Like
Could you
it's
though?
cute.
I
It's
mean,
like
can you imagine the deck that this was in most of the time? It shouldn't be too hard to guess, but I guess it wasn't really used in English in those colors. So what deck type do you think it was mainly seen in?
it's hard to say, friend.
I think Cryptic Totem is almost
Need to guess?
universally better, right?
CVH?
I just don't think
Generally,
I'd
yeah.
play
I
it.
mean, you used it for the sympathy part, or you used it as like a second curse totem sort of thing. But do you know what deck type, CVH?
I don't know. I can't even think of it being playable.
Bombazar.
Bombazar?
No, Bombazar. Yeah,
That's
Bombazar
cute.
Black.
Interesting.
Because what was your other? What would you
Oh
think
yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
beast of
Ganta
was other
Bronze Arm. Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's Gonta.
That's cute.
So you
Yeah.
just you did the normal water fire nature, but then you had the bit of splash of black of it. Just for this and
I like
like
that.
Terrapits or something or Cranium Clamp. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can play
It
this pretty
worked.
consistently on turn 4
Yeah.
or
Like
5,
Curse
and then
Totem.
swap out Bomb and win.
Like they even, or sorry, I said Curse Totem, but they had. I mean, we had Cryptic, but they had
That's
Curse
yeah.
Totem. And you
Yeah.
know the difference with Curse Totem?
Yeah,
Nope.
as long as it's on the board, you can't activate
Yeah,
triggers.
it doesn't even need to be tapped.
It's busted.
So it is better than Galamuda, but the Sympathy, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that this can come down on 4 and then like CVH said, and then you even, I mean,
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point, like,
I mean,
yeah, it's
importantly,
really strong.
this doesn't have double breakers, so unless you're really playing like that Bombazar Black deck, like Cryptic Totem fits into so many more decks because it also presents
Oh, definitely.
so much more of a game-winning potential in the next turn. This is hard to just win from
It
nothing.
is an Earth Dragon though, which means you can evolve Soul Phoenix over it, which is it's there for you. Is Soul Phoenix an Earth
Rather
Dragon?
keep
Ava?
Galamuda
Yeah,
most of the time, probably.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this I like this card. I think it's fun, and I think we could find a way to
It's
slot it
probably,
into a few
it
decks.
is actually one of the stronger cards in the set, but sadly they've never reprinted it.
Yeah,
It's
that
okay,
makes
we
it
got our
expensive,
proxies.
right? Yeah,
We got our
absolutely.
proxies.
Absolutely. You can see it right here.
But it's still in the Hall of Fame. Like you can only use one copy of it. Did you stay for like nearly 18 something years? Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not letting it go.
Fair, fun and interactive, right? But yeah, guys,
Oh, that's the
that,
thing. You want name of the game is shield triggers. The game's not the same without them.
that brings us to the end of our DM13 set review. Guys, thanks for doing this with me. I know that went a lot longer than I think each two of you were
How long have
anticipating.
we been in the call? I was
You
actually
wanna
just
know?
about to check.
The video
Yeah.
is about
what's
2
the
hours.
time?
The video is 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Solid. So a
Yeah.
little over an hour longer than I was going to go. Guys, for those of you who sat and watched all the podcast until
Carl,
while you were driving,
did Carl
from
just
wherever
cut out
you're going,
again?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
totally cut out.
Okay,
Am I
you're like,
here?
for those of you just that. No, I can still see you. It's just like your
For
audio is
those of you
cutting
who
out.
mute, yeah. Yeah,
For those
video
of you who
stuff.
stuck around, thank you. Thanks for sticking through this. Hopefully, this can be your podcast on a long drive home, one rainy afternoon, perhaps. But yeah, guys, thanks for doing this with me, Yami, CVH. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's
And
fun to be here for sure.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm excited to hopefully jump into more content, definitely with you in the future, CVH. But to get you on some, I think it'd be fun to do some of those card reviews. I know you and I were shooting some around about a week ago, and I'm excited to maybe hop in the booth with you again here in the
Oh,
hopefully
I have a
near
bunch of
future.
stuff that I didn't even bring up with these cards. And yeah, there's always more information. Like, yeah, there's a wiki. I mean, if you got to find them, there's the wiki, obviously.
Yeah,
But
go check it
if
out
you've got
down below.
any questions about anything we've said, I'll be uh, watching these comments, or you can find me on the disc or on the you can find me on the wiki for sure, or you can find me on the Discord. That's also on the Reddit, and the Discord's all over the wiki. You should be able to find it. I'll
Yeah,
get a link for the comments or whatever, or for the description. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, any discussion on any card or deck that you think one of these cards might fit into, or some other use of a card that we called horrible that maybe you'd like for some reason. Tell us why. Yeah.
Prove us
It's a
wrong. We
lot of
dare you.
them. Yeah.
Oh, I want deck lists. If you've watched this long and you've got deck lists to show off, show them off.
Do it.
Yeah, I think with that and on that note, Yami, thank you for doing this with. And until next time, guys.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.
Each.